fucking microphone. Let's just do the review of this shitty Commander 2018 product already.
The shitty product.
All right, starting from the top, dude. Alphabetical order. Have you sorted them yet in alphabetical order? No? All right, starts with M in it. I'm just kidding. It's like, can't be bothered to do this. I'm just jumping in. All right, do you want to do them by deck?
I think we should do it by deck, yeah.
So we're just going to do the legends.
Yeah.
Right? We're just going to do the legends. What deck would you like to start with?
Fuck, sorry. I gotta get rid of my
You're not ready.
headphones.
You're not prepared.
I am unprepared, Andy.
Let's go, dude.
Unprepared.
Let's go. I've been
like,
waiting all year. Let's go.
Put it in, dude. Put it in. Let's do the Izzet one, dude.
Do you want to start with the artifacts?
Yeah,
one?
let's fucking do that.
Okay, well, let's do it. So the deck is called Exquisite Artifacts, and that's
Isn't
important.
it Exquisite Invention?
I thought it's Exquisite Artifacts, isn't it?
Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's Exquisite Artifacts.
That's what it says on.
It's not even like selling you the pretense of anything.
I'm pretty sure Wizards says Exquisite Invention.
Oh.
This Exquisite Artifacts is on Reddit though.
Yeah, I'm on like a Reddit thread where they just like like jammed them all together.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, it's looking like 3 of them are Izzet, and then they have like just a mono red commander, right?
Yeah. That's what we got here.
This year it's Planeswalkers again. So the last time that happened was...
It's 2014.
Was it 2014?
Yeah, so we had like Gen 2, which is in 2013, which had like Aloro, Nakusur, and those ones.
Okay.
And then I think the next year was the monocolor Planeswalkers.
It's been that long?
Yeah. We've been doing Commander for a little while, dude.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Weird.
Yeah. So we're back to Planeswalkers. So yeah, let's start with that one. So it's Saheeli the Gifted.
Okay.
2, and then Izzet, so blue-red. Legendary Planeswalker Saheeli. So she's got a +1. You could create a 1/1 colorless servo. Oh yeah, sorry. She comes in with 4 loyalty.
Oh right.
So yeah, she's a plus. She goes up to 1. You can create a 1/1 colorless servo artifact creature token, which is really good because
I mean with Planeswalkers,
you generally want to develop a way
they need a way
block.
to protect themselves.
Yeah, and that's about as good as you're gonna get. They ain't a Thopter, but you know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then she has another +1. The next spell you cast this turn costs 1 less to cast for each artifact creature you control as you cast it. And then her ultimate, like just to get it out of the way, for each artifact you control, create a token that's a copy of it, and those tokens gain haste. Exile those tokens at the beginning of the next end step.
I'm jazzed about this one.
You are?
What about you, dude?
I
mean, you're the Izzet guy. You're the, I think, resident expert on artifacts, if there is one in our group.
Yeah, I'm pretty into this. Yeah, that middle ability is what's attractive.
Fucking dope.
So I think a lot of what can be said about really, if we're looking at Izzet artifacts for commanders that actually care about it. I mean, now we have 4 of them, right?
Yeah.
Like there was Nin the Pain Artist, but that really wasn't specific to artifacts. But
sure,
you know, it was a way to take it. Yeah, I've kind of said like I don't like Jehoira. I think a lot of people actually have kind of fallen on.
I've kind of been seeing that on the internet, like the interwebulars. People are they're sort of disenchanted.
Disenartifacted.
Disenartifacted.
Well, I think I think there's not a reason to play big artifacts with her.
Oh,
it's
sure.
It's just not in your interest to do it. It like the lower the mana cost,
defeats
the better.
The purpose. Like
so, I like Jehoira if you're doing the eggs thing.
Sure.
A lot actually, but then I think even still you'll find that it's not efficient, and you want to just try to turn it into Mox Tribal. You know, I think I remember like reading that somewhere. Somebody called it Mox Tribal. So I just
an accurate moniker.
I think why I like Saheeli is that she has I think the same mana cost, right?
Yeah.
And then she kind of develops artifacts for you on her own, and then eventually just lets you have a big swingy turn. And what's cool is that it's just any spell is reduced by that cost.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, like you can
the next spell you cast this turn. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, so I mean, you can do a lot with that, right? I mean, you can do artifacts would be really good. I mean, the colorless component of them
Sure.
are now reduced, so they're just
Yeah, and you can
whatever.
free cast.
Yeah, you're free casting. You can use Eldrazi now. Like you're not really
Oh, yeah.
pigeonholed to art to having them be artifacts.
Which is an interesting thing in Commander, because I found like anytime you can do something like that where you're creating a wealth of mana available to you or a cost reduction.
Yeah.
Like my Sachi deck, for example, it's a mono green. It produces a lot of mana, and it kind of becomes this question: what do I do with it? And it's a shaman deck, but I don't need to have shamans be the bomb. Somebody else can set us up the bomb.
Yeah, and then to me, it's like she can keep going towards her ultimate while doing that.
Oh yeah,
I think what I really like it is the +1 is like not boring. Like draw a card, discard a card. You know, like so Duretti, it's just kind of like, all right, I'm just gonna fill up my graveyard. And yeah, his down 2 lets you weld things into play.
sure.
Like I think I like just the unidirectional nature of her. And then yeah, like her ultimate, as great as it sounds, it's not going to be that crazy. I mean, with Mycosynth Lattice in play,
Yeah, I was gonna say people have been
your,
talking about doing Mycosynth Lattice and the Deep Glow Skate as a combo to just keep, like, you can continue to, like, you have an infinite with that actually.
Yeah,
but
you can go pretty crazy with this thing, like resetting her.
But I mean,
Lattice just turns this thing on for sure. Yeah. Deep Slow Skate, yeah, it would push her ultimate range immediately. Like once it comes out, she'd be within range of dropping it.
And then you copy her, and yeah, it gets gross.
Yeah, I think this is just I'm way more excited for this as far as like what I would be putting in it. Getting combo pieces online, like mercifully you now have blue, so you can start drawing through, and then you can tutor some of the things with like Fabricate. Like red didn't really have a lot mono red didn't have that going on.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I can't even I'm having a hard time like intellectualizing like what I want to do with this one, because she's just so self-contained. I don't know how to like describe it better.
It's true. It is very self-contained.
Where Duretti wasn't. Like Duretti was just like, well, we'll see if we'll get to that. Like the ultimate was kind of extreme.
Yeah.
It was 10 out. You had to have 10. You have no way to like throw that thing up.
Right.
You're going out of your way for like things like the contagion engine.
Right.
Which it would still be good in this. Like she just eclipses that guy. I was
gonna say, let me do a gut check with you and just ask you, like, you have a Duretti deck.
Yeah. But now I can have Duretti
and blue
and with a Deep Slow Skate possibility.
Yeah.
And if I land that ultimate, like I don't know if his ultimate's just fucking ridiculous.
Oh yeah, his ultimate's way better than hers, I think.
Well, his deck is set up to abuse his ultimate.
Sure.
Like his deck is kind of set up to abuse that ultimate. You're looking to like, all right, well now I'm gonna do the Mind Slaver. You know, like you're looking to do that. Although you could actually do a pretty hard lock with the Mind Slaver on her if you have, I think it's 14 mana.
Okay.
You know, if you can make copies of it or something and like just yeah.
Well, that's the thing to me about her, is that like some of these other commanders, because we've actually been seeing some, I guess, feeding of the whole red blue artifacts thing this year. Got Jehoira, which is kind of like vanilla, I guess, but
there was a lot of it too.
Clearly does that. There's Psy. Yeah, Ether Revolt has that. There's no reason you can't just toss all that stuff in there for her.
He's a little better in this too, because you're not really using the mana. Like you can use his mana to give yourself a Thopter.
Yeah.
Which is a better blocker.
Yeah. To
defend her with. Yeah. I'm really into this. I'm trying to decide between her and then this next one. It's Thanos, Urza's Apprentice. So really, really aggressive mana cost. He's just red and a blue. 2 mana. He's a legendary creature, human artificer, 1/3. You can pay red and the blue and tap him again, and you can copy target activated or triggered ability you control from an artifact source. You may choose new targets for the copy.
That one's fucking big. So I didn't notice it right after he was, like, right when he was spoiled.
Mm-hmm.
But looking at it more closely, because normally with stuff like that, it's one or the other, but to like a activated or a triggered, it seems
either.
like
It's either.
And in this one, in his case, you can do either, which is fucking dope.
Yeah. Paradox engine.
Oh, for sure.
Once we have paradox engine, I mean, whatever. Like that card needed any help with anything. Another thing to think about is if something isn't an artifact and becomes an artifact, it's just wherever the source of that triggered or activated ability is coming from. As long as it is an artifact, he's going to see it.
Yeah.
So like liquid metal coating, and then again mycosynth lattice.
Sure.
Triggered effects can go off twice.
Oh yeah.
Right. So.
Well,
so I actually think if you actually pull into Ready or Tezzeret or somebody like that, and they become artifacts, you can double their activations.
That's actually pretty sick.
Yeah, I mean, I think this one's gonna be probably the one that gets broken. Illusionist bracers, so you can spread those activations, or stack them on the same thing.
Exactly.
Setting it off. I think just the paradox engine alone.
Yeah, and there's actually some interesting cards in the list that they already have in there. Like I think the Blink Moth Urn is in there, and they're like, so you can get a lot of mana out of that. Like there's some cool things. I was wondering, like, Isochron Scepter in this deck?
That would work. Yeah, you would be able to 4 mana to cast two CMC spells. So you're kind of on the cost.
Kind of on the cost, but like you're getting a lot of replication of an effect that you want.
Yeah. Yeah. And then on top of, like, I think kind of saying the Mindslaver thing again, like if you have that and Rings of Brighthearth.
Oh.
So you tap it. I mean, it's a lot of fucking mana, but like if you tap it and then twin it, I think you can grab 3 opponents, right? So if you have the Mindslaver, you activate it and sacrifice it, and I grab your turn, right?
Yeah.
And then I Rings of Brighthearth his ability. So if I tap him and activate it to twin this, it's a lot of fucking mana though to do that. But then I grab everybody's turn.
That's actually
and
really
were
cool.
It's basically like me hose. I mean, that's worse than taking an extra turn. I mean, that's like,
oh yeah, like I'm gonna do the next round the table.
Yeah, and there's stuff like that. I mean, there's stuff that you can take extra turns with from artifacts.
Yeah.
Right. So like that weird, what is it? Is it Ugin's Nexus? Like if that one gets broken, you can twin it and take extra turns. Like it's twinning stuff in Commander is powerful, and I think a lot of the time, like the barrier between you and getting the twin is pretty high, right? So like Melik is like, well, you can twin instances of sorceries, but
sure,
they've got to be cast off the top of your library to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even saying that, like that crazy artifact that, well, it turns into a land though. That don't work. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'm just trying to wrap my head around this one because this one's, I think if you look at like a lot of discussion about him, there's not a lot because people are like, somebody's going to break this thing wide open.
Yeah, I mean, it will get broken, but I think that's it's cool to me to have a commander like that where there is this very strong, potent ability and power there to kind of explore. Like it's not readily obvious what you need to do just yet, but the community will get to it. Yeah.
I think if I really wanted to make him though, if I was like, okay, this is the guy I'm going to do, I'd really want to have most of my deck just good things to have double of, not okay, I'm instantly just busting things out.
Right.
So maybe pick a couple of combos that are really, really hard for my opponents to get through.
Sure.
And those are my goals of getting there, but the rest is just, it's nice to have this thing doubled up. You know, like it's nice to have these kind of like doubling effects, whatever they are. Like the Voltaic Key.
Yeah.
Right. So
you can untap a couple things.
Couple permanents a better one would be like the Unwinding Clock.
Sure.
You know, because I'm activating this ability and I'm using him. Like just things like that where I'm just trying to eke out that value and have him out and this other thing out early that gets me into a late game kind of setup.
And I would imagine that would fit better into most play groups where in terms of reputation of a commander, where you're
speaking to our previous episode.
Yeah, where you're doing some things that you set up along the way that's just kind of it I guess an ends to or a means to an end, but you're not all just ends.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
I think
I don't want to just like, all right, I'm dumping a bunch of mana rocks and then I find a couple things and then here we go. And then somebody finds a way to unbutton it, and I'm like, oh fuck,
Yeah.
right? Because like I just want to be able to use him from turn 2.
Oh yeah.
Not
right.
do nothing with him, and then finally when I have all my, but maybe that what exists that I could, what's out there that I can do that with? Like that's the question. Like what things can I? Because it's I think it's fairly specific. It won't let you twin, mana creating abilities, right? Like so giving him, mana abilities can't be targeted. So you're not able to like.
Yeah, so you're not going to get a bunch of mana out of a Gilded Lotus or something like that.
Yeah,
like,
it wouldn't even be that much because you have
you net one.
Two, but they were. I mean, there's ways to go infinite. That's why they were like, okay, we're gonna eliminate that.
Sure.
It's just what are those gonna be? You know, what are those gonna be? Maybe like prototype portal, I suppose. Like
that's one I've seen people talking about.
You could twin off of. I mean, Kirkesh. Like him and Kirkesh work really well together. Kirkesh is a little better for the activated side because it's less mana and it doesn't involve a tapping. So you can kind of keep doing it. So him and the Voltaic Key get really busted actually pretty quick, especially with Gilded Lotus. Like then you do actually have infinite colored mana.
Okay.
You know, because it doesn't require that Kirkesh tap.
Sure.
So I still think Kirkesh is somebody who's going to be valued in this deck.
Presence here.
It's just the triggered abilities are what you're not able to get from Kirkesh.
Sure.
But Mirror Works, I guess, is a good triggered ability.
Yeah.
Because you can,
that's what I've seen people talking about.
You pay 2 and you get a clone. So you would end up with, it's still 4 extra mana.
Yeah.
4 extra mana to get 2, so 3 versions of the same thing.
Yeah. It's, anyway,
dude, my head hurts with these.
You're just your head's like spinning. You're just like,
they do because I've got like if you go back and listen to like our artifact episode where when I'm going off about artifacts, like a lot of my time has been with just red, because up until we recorded that, I wasn't into doing like what's his face Arkham Dachshund whatever. You know, and I did some time with the Esper setups, but they were all just like ETB infinites.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Or I thought it was like with Sidri. Like Sidri was just she's just too cute. You know, her and that jaw. Like I just can't even have her on a piece of cardboard. I'm distracted by her. You know, I mean her abilities. Like they're just too cute. Like I didn't think they did a lot to getting me a win.
Sure.
Other than like falling into some kind of infinite. You know, it was like Time Sieve or something in the Thopter assembly. Like so when I pivoted to red, it's like, I was okay with having some crazy infinite.
But it was usually kind of like some convoluted, like, you took the long way home for sure.
Yeah, it was kind of a stretch. You know what I mean? Like it was kind of a stretch. So when we're introducing blue to this, I'm like, it's starting to hurt my head.
Oh yeah.
Thing. I feel about this guy like I did when 2 years ago when they spoiled Yidris.
Oh,
like Yidris was just too chaotic for me. Like I remember thinking like, man, how do I make this guy work? Right? It's like you just cascade into shit. You kind of hope that you hit these things and you're just trying to just get the value train going.
Sure.
You know, really all you're looking to do with him is get more combats and wheel and double strike.
Yeah.
But I remember like when it first came out and it hadn't really been solved and everyone's kind of just talking about like how crazy the cascades are. I started just,
you're just like,
dude, I just like couldn't even wrap my head around this thing. Like call me an amateur or something, but that's how this guy makes me feel. Because I feel like people are just going to throw a ton of artifacts and a ton of activated and triggers all over this thing.
Oh yeah.
And some are just like, they're not, what are the best ones, man? You know?
And that's usually what it comes down to with a deck like this, right? Because usually, it's apples and oranges. Because I've been messing around with my Tashar list again, doing artifacts.
See, that's triggered a lot of it, right? Or no, it's triggered abilities a lot of it.
Yeah, and so it's kind of like, but you end up realizing that when you're dealing with something like this, that you have maybe, I don't know, like 10 to 15 cards that are kind of the core of it. Like you're not just building a whole deck full of good stuff for this.
But okay, so now that you've kind of touched on artifacts, like there's just so many.
Oh yeah.
There's just so many.
There are so many.
I mean, there's
ridiculous.
ones that are objectively just like paradox engines. They're so busted. Like, come on.
Sure.
But there's just so many the possibilities with artifacts kind of they stretch your the human capacity for making decks. At least for me. At least for me. All right, let's just talk about the next one then, because these two are giving me a headache. This one's a little bit more like
this one's pretty cool.
Easier to have. Yeah, he just is actually. So it's Brutaclad, Telcor Engineer. Brutaclad, Telcor Engineer is a legendary artifact creature, artificer. It's weird he's not actually a mirror.
That is actually a little bit weird.
Is he a mirror? Or is he just like, he just resembles a mirror? Is he the weird gas that's in his chest? Do you see that? And that he's just, right? Like, who is Brutaclad, dude? Yeah, sorry. So he's 6 mana, 4 blue and a red. Creature tokens you control have haste, which is key because at the beginning of your combat on your turn, you can create a 2/1 blue mirror artifact creature token. Then you may choose a token you control. If you do, each other token you control becomes a copy of that token. So yeah, dude, this guy's pretty explosive. He's pretty explosive. He's one of those ones that's like, it's fucking 6 mana. But
I have a rule about 6 mana, like 6 CMC commanders.
What is that?
They better fucking change the game.
He does on your side, that's for sure.
And he does.
He does. So yeah, I mean, it's Izzet tokens, right? It doesn't need to be artifacts. He's an artifact artificer. He makes you an artifact token, but really what you're looking for is what are high value tokens that I can propagate.
Yes.
In, this is actually kind of like on your scale with.
Sure. I like to do tokening and stuff like that, or I have done tokening. But what I actually am really into about
if you can only somehow get a token copy of Krenko. Oh wait, there's Shahili's artistry that you can make a clone of him. You would drop him off, but then you would have a clone that is now hasted.
Or if you could get that Helm of the Host or whatever.
Oh, well, you just spoiled the super tech there. Yeah, so like the super tech with this is Helm of the Host.
Right.
Because now you can strap Helm of the Host onto Brutaclad. And at the beginning of your combat, you get a token that's not a legendary copy of Brutaclad. And then also Brutaclad, so if you order these triggers, Brutaclad makes a 2/1 copy or 2/1 mirror that you can now become a copy of Brutaclad's token copy. So now you have Brutaclad.
And
then from then on, you just keep having more and more Brutaclad.
It's fucking dope.
Yeah. I don't think it's as crazy as you're thinking it is, but it is pretty crazy.
But it's crazy. It's crazy cool, dude. The thing that I like about Brutaclad, though, is it kind of ties these other two together, right?
Definitely. Yeah.
So I mean, like Saheeli puts out tokens, right? Like with the ultimate, right?
Yeah.
And so now Brutaclad has all these sweet targets.
Sweet targets to copy. Right, because it doesn't say creature token.
Right.
Weirdly, they omitted that. So if you really wanted a bunch of treasure or a bunch of clues, you could do that.
You got a raging clue, dude.
Yeah, you could just turn. I mean, I don't know. Like if you're kind of in a stall, like is the 2/1 mirror really all that helpful?
Sure.
If you're in like a non-aggro meta, like you're not really looking for blockers. So it's and that's the other thing. He makes blockers for Shahili.
Right.
It's not crazy.
And then Thanos can double up either of those two for you to kind of help you out. Like,
oh, fuck you. Yeah, dude. Yeah. He can double up either. If she ever becomes an artifact, like he's going to do work.
Yeah.
And then, he can twin the activated abilities of some of these tokens.
I mean, that's kind of what I'm looking at is I'm like, Brutaclad brings the three of these together, which kind of, to me, I think.
It seems like you've been spotting these a little bit. These like little, legendary synergies because you had one with what was it?
Yeah, so with Dominaria and Tiana.
Yeah,
well, I don't know. I think I kind of want like that's something that I want to like I don't know, throw a bone to Wizards of the Coast. Like I think they do have some subtle design that is pretty cool, you know? They've struggled
Leyline of design.
Yeah, Leyline of design. They've struggled with some of these commander releases because they try to give us commanders, new legends that kind of are close to each other, but do different things.
Mm-hmm.
So the deck, like the pre-con decks are kind of incoherent at times. These three,
This one is a pretty coherent list.
like you would want these three together.
Yeah, I can see the value in it. I think if I was gonna make my deck, like if I'm making the Shahili deck, I don't see myself putting Brutaclad in there because of his mana.
Sure.
It's 6. Thanos, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Thanos he's only 2 mana. I'm not really going out of my way for that. But I think like as a precon, yeah, no, I get what you're kind of spotting. There's a new golem that they put out. Like we'll just talk about it now. It's a 12/12 golem that's reduced by how many creatures that are attacking you. It has flash, or not even attacking you. I think it's just attacking. So you can even flash this thing out on your own. Combat.
Sure.
But if it ever dies, it becomes a 6/12 token. So that would be highly valued for
That's a great
Brutaclad. Wormcoil Engine. So yeah, let's pick all the lifelink or the death touch.
Oh yeah, dude.
Precursor Golem, a mere battle sphere. If you can kind of make somehow like Shahili's Artistry, Kiki Jiki Mirror Breaker, like anything that turns regular creatures
into a token.
into tokens, like this is what you're looking for.
Oh yeah.
Like those effects is what you want, because real creatures will always be they'll be more valuable than regular tokens will ever be. But Kiki Jiki will do dark work here.
We're gonna come back to talking about parties. Kiki Jiki needs to be invited to all the parties.
He does need to be invited to all the parties. He does. So yeah, this is definitely one of them. Helm of the Host, super tech for this.
Yeah.
Because yeah, all these token Brutaclads make the token 2/1s that become token Brutaclads. Like it's fucked. That's actually pretty fucking crazy.
It's pretty cool. Should we talk about the stepchild of this deck?
So I was thinking about this one, and I'm actually, I think this one actually kind of contends with what's the dude's name? Valduk.
Oh.
So it's Varchild, Betrayer of Kaeldor. She's 2 in a red for legendary creature Human Knight. When Varchild, Betrayer of Kaeldor deals combat damage to a player, that player creates that many 1/1 red survivor creature tokens. Survivors your opponents control can't block and can't attack you or a planeswalker you control. She's a 3/3, but here's the weird thing is that when Varchild leaves the battlefield, gain control of all survivors. So if I hit you, you get 3 of them. Yeah. Right? So she's 3/3 for 3.
Yeah, which is cool.
3, and then I hit somebody else, 3. So I think about how much damage that is that she's created.
Yeah.
In that instance, or let's say we only get in 2 hits from her.
Sure.
We're up to like, what is that? 9 damage? Because they can't attack me.
Right. But you're giving other people survive.
And they can't block her. That's the other thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like I can't come back.
Yeah.
Coming
back for you.
Right. So what else are you going to do with them? You're going to send them at other people or block. I guess in a weird way, like if you block bigger creatures from other people, she is kind of reducing the ambient damage. That's my new thing, man.
I like ambient damage.
Ambient damage of what's going on, right? But as soon as she leaves, so I don't know, Conjurer's Closet, I'm pulling them all over to my side. And her Reity Being doesn't set them back anywhere. Like
that's dope.
They're just mine. Homeward Path. Because I created them. I am their owner. You're just their controller.
I always forget about Homeward Path. Jeff used that one on me a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I think I used like Corrupted Conscience.
When you have it and you need it, it's great. It's kind of like just like.
But that's built for this deck. Like this deck wants that.
Yeah, it's more than just a condom now.
Right.
That one's like made for this deck.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, it's great when you need it.
It's no, I'm going to be fucking tonight, so I need to have it.
Yeah. So I don't know. Making her increase in power it's kind of doing double duty in a strange way. Like I actually.
So instead of creating these like elementals like Valduk does, you're creating survivors.
So Dictate of the Twin Gods is really good here because like it's going all over the place. Like again, to use my new phrase, ambient damage is pretty high there because they can't attack me.
Right.
A lot of the reason like you're worried about, and then like coat of arms, well that's global.
Oh yeah.
It? So right away, like I hit you, like even if we're going back to like the basics of the commander, I hit you, I land 3 of them on you, right?
Yeah.
Because it says that many.
Exactly.
And they're all going to get +3 now. So they're 4/4s that can never come my way. And if they come to if I lose my Varchild, oh my God.
That's dope.
Yeah, she's not.
I hadn't really thought about
not
this one too
shitty,
much.
dude. Like she's really not.
Well,
shitty
I didn't
at
think
all.
it was shitty. My concern was just how do you I guess I think I had two concerns. Like one, making sure that Varchild leaves in an effective way. So, like you said, Conjurer's Closet, stuff like that.
I'd be okay with Conjurer's Closet. That's probably the one I am okay with. You could probably, because I don't want her being off the attack. Because she'll come off on my turn, come back, and then by the time we get around to me, I can attack again.
She gets done with her summoning sickness. Yeah.
Yeah. So giving her like menace, so like madcap skills, things like that.
Oh yeah.
Because she's out so early. Like, why the fuck not?
Yeah.
I think there is actually an enchantment that deals damage to everybody when creatures come into play under anybody's control. So like you're thinking like impact tremors and Perforos, but that doesn't work because they come in
because
under,
they're coming in under
if it came over my control and then I gave them away,
cool,
that would be different. But that's not how this thing's gonna work.
Okay.
What the hell is the name of that enchantment?
I don't know, dude.
There is an enchantment that deals damage like whenever a creature comes into play. Like I'm not. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, Coat of Arms is really crazy with her because now people have like really, really, really big blockers.
It's an interesting one.
Repercussion. That's busted too.
Yeah.
Because once you fall into a blasphemous act with repercussion,
I was a little
you've created a way for them to die. Like they have like your opponents have so many tokens. It's like 13, 13, 13, 13. Like they're just out.
I was a little concerned about whether or not you could make enough happen for it to have a big enough impact. You know, like that was kind of my concern initially, but I think some of the stuff, like listening to you talk about it, I'm like, oh, yeah, I think you can do it. You can do it, dude. You can do it.
Yeah.
The other thing is sometimes giving people fodder is dangerous. But you're playing red. Are you really planning for tomorrow?
True. You are giving them things to sack with. You're giving them things to block with. But if you have kind of a plan for these creatures, you know, like putting out the effects, like everybody attacks each turn if able, like things like that.
Oh yeah,
like
that was
just forcing the combats because you want to get into combat so often.
Yeah, like you have to go. You're going to go anyways. Like make everyone else.
Yeah,
I'm into it.
Yeah, not as bad. Not the stepchild you thought, man. She rose up.
Yeah, she did.
She rose up and overcame. Did. You want to cover a different deck now? I think that's all of them from that one.
Yeah, that's all. I think that's all the new legends from that one. Which one should we do next, dude?
Let's talk about let's just talk about the Jund deck.
Let's talk about the Jund deck.
Yeah.
All right, dude. This is your favorite one, huh?
Yeah, hit us with it.
Okay, so the Planeswalker in this one is Lord Windgrace. So 2 black, red, green. Comes in with 5 loyalty, has a +2, discard a card, then draw a card. And if a land card is discarded this way, then draw an additional card. So discard a land, draw 2, kind of thing. -3, return up to 2 target land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. So as you've been ditching lands with the up 2, you get those back into play.
Mm-hmm.
And then an ultimate of -11, destroy up to 6 target non-land permanents, then create 6 2/2 green cat warrior creature tokens with Forest Walk.
Okay, so you're the lands guy. Believe it or not, actually you are.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, huh?
After what I saw last night, fuck. The guy had Gitrog Monster out, maybe 4 mana. Like, I don't even know how he pulled off getting the Gitrog Monster out with 4 mana. At least after all the sacrificing shit. The turn went on for maybe like 3 minutes, and I'm watching all this shit go into his graveyard and back into play, and going into the graveyard and back into play. Like, I'm just, what the fuck is going on over there?
Yeah.
I remember thinking about this Lord Windgrace guy, and I'm like, yeah, you don't really need him. You know,
it's kind of true, and so like, and that's exactly it, right? Like I think that the turn you're describing, I had like a crop rotation that I had held on to, a harrow that I had held on to. I had my normal land plays that I was able to spin through. And this is just using Golgari, right? Like,
I remember my blood pressure going up during that turn, for sure.
And the other thing is that like, there's not a limitation on it. It's just because Gitrog's there providing me card draw for lands going into the graveyard. Like it's this great thing. Like Lord Windgrace has this sort of one-time effect. I think that's what's difficult here is with lands, you need something that's sort of ever present instead of a singular effect. Does that make sense? Because I think that's what separates the Gitrog monster from
this is an activated
Lord
his is a
Windgrace.
trigger.
Yeah, exactly.
He lets you draw a card just by blasting land.
Yeah, exactly.
Lord Windgrace doesn't have that going for him.
I don't. The thing to me is that I don't hate the first two abilities on Lord Windgrace. Honestly, I don't. But they're made better by things like the Gitrog monster, as it turns out.
I mean, he definitely isn't as obvious as the Gitrog monster, I suppose.
No.
But at the same time, he's a planeswalker, which comes with its own like level of being obvious. So
the other thing to me about him, though, is that like you're not. I don't know how valuable that ultimate is, but it's threatening enough that I think your opponents will hate it. They'll hate the idea that you will have the opportunity to destroy 6 non-land permanents.
yeah, I was thinking like, well, that's not an ultimate anybody's gonna freak out. It's like, fuck no, dude. 6 is a lot. You might run out of good targets for that.
Yeah.
Like, and yeah, let's just get rid of this. Like, let's just get rid of your Worn Power Stone. Really? Yeah, let's drop that. And let's I don't know, let's kill this Elvish Mystic. Like you really probably could. Like
it's
if
true.
you get that thing online. I don't really have that many that I want to destroy.
And if you're thinking about it at 5 CMC and the number of turns you got to go through to get there, fuck, just cast a Wrath spell, dude.
Yeah. Maybe we should hold off on talking about about all that. We have a plan for all of that, but what would be good for him? Like, let's say I put a gun to your head and I said, Kyle, fucking get rid of the Gitrog and switch it to Lord Windgrace, or I'm gonna blow your goddamn brains out.
I think a lot of the obvious type stuff that you would want to, like, you just
the Gitrog monster.
Yeah, the Gitrog monster. Omnath, Azusa, Menenden, Burgeoning, Tiana, Exploration, like all these different things. Like you just the unfortunate thing about his +1 ability, or +2, whatever it is, +1, +2. His +2 ability is that it doesn't actually like it's hard to push it forward too much. Yeah, you can net a card if you're discarding land, but you got to have like a pretty steep land composition for your deck. You're probably looking at needing to have like 45 lands plus, I would think.
I think he works really well with fetch lands.
That's true.
So does the Gitrog monster.
Yeah, of course.
Even just like even the weak fetch lands like Evolving Wilds or the Panoramas, I suppose.
Yeah.
The Ashen Barrens, is that what it is? Ashen Barrens, or
so the Ash Baron's the one that you can do the basic land cycling.
The basic land cycling.
There's several of those from several of the cycling lands that came from Amonkhet that you could.
Well, then there's the monuments too from Dominaria. So there's some techie lands. I think if somebody put a gun to my head and said made this guy, I would definitely be trying to go down the route of taking advantage away from my opponents. So a lot of board wipes. So like Anger of the God effects.
Oh yeah,
like Sweltering Suns.
That would be my anticipation.
I'd probably go for Sire of Insanity.
Yeah, why not?
To hold people off, so I'm able just to kind of filter stuff out. I have a higher land density, and then the stuff that they do finally resolve, I've already got my super removal, and then I'll get my cats.
You should be. I think if you take that route, you should be ahead of people with this
kind of like a resource denial pressure kind of thing.
Well, yeah, because instead of I think with a lot of resource denial type decks, usually what you're trying to do is get your advantage from your artifacts. In this case, you should just be ramped way in front of people. Would be what I would anticipate, and so you're just. I think it's like adding 2 colors to an Azusa type deck. Like there's just going to be lands everywhere. You've got mana advantage.
Okay. Well, he's the commander for the focused lands deck. Let's talk about the other commanders that care about lands as well. What's the next commander that cares about lands? That's Jund.
Yeah, right. Let's do the fucking spider, dude.
Okay.
So Thantis.
Sorry, but that one actually doesn't care about lands. I asked you to list off the Jund commander that cares about lands.
Yeah, whoops.
Yeah, it turns out there isn't one. Turns out there's not one. Yeah, what's the spider do?
Fuck. So Thantis, the War Weaver. 6 converted mana cost, so remember what I said about 6. Better have a big fucking impact.
Okay.
So 3 and then Jund. Vigilance and Reach. All creatures attack each combat if able.
Huh.
Whenever a creature attacks you or a planeswalker you control, put a +1/+1 counter on Thantis the War Weaver. And that's a 5/5. This one has some design flaws in my humble opinion.
Really? Is it the art? You don't like how it looks?
Yeah, the art looks like just, a child did it.
A child did it.
No, I'm just kidding. I have no critique of the the art at all. But so we did our +1/+1 counters theme episode.
Yeah.
And I think if you have savvy Magic players, the only way you can really use +1/+1 counters in a steady way is to combo with them.
Okay.
Thantis doesn't provide that, nor do the colors really provide that. Right? We're not playing Abzan.
Black and green.
We're not playing Simic. We're in Jund. So really what you end up doing with Thantis is just creating a big fucking spider.
Mm-hmm.
And it can't block multiple creatures either, is the other
That's
thing.
my one thing I don't
That's
like
where
about
that's the design thing that's kind of flawed, right?
I'm like, can he block 8?
That would be dope if the spider could block 8. That would be fucking dope.
People would just be looking to drain him for removal at that point.
Yeah,
it's like they already are going to. He's just
of course they are.
You know?
Anytime there's a big creature on the battlefield, it just calls out removal, especially in our group. And we've talked about that. Like we have a heavy removal group.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's unique to us.
Yeah.
So I will mention this. I was kind of looking into Thantis a little bit, and I saw somebody on Reddit actually mention it was spinning through their head. They're like, well, okay, it's not just me, or it's not just my opponents that have to attack, right? All creatures attack.
Yeah, he
each
has to
combat
be sent into the red line.
He has to go.
But he's vigilant.
All of your creatures have to go. He is vigilant. So, good job on the design there.
Yeah, so you're not really allowed to play like utility creatures that don't tap.
Yeah, because they're gonna go.
Killed. So things like pretty much if you're gonna do a Deathrite Shaman,
yeah, that thing's gonna die.
You'll be pretty much obliged to activate that ability every turn. Not that might not be happening already.
Sure,
but
sure.
You're going to have to be careful with actually because he's going to force them to attack too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
something to think
I saw
about.
somebody on Reddit kind of, I guess, grappling with this conundrum, right?
Okay.
In that, I want to have creatures that are, I want to avoid having those creatures that are utility creatures that I value that I don't like. I don't want to be able to have to send them into the red line. Or just have myself tapped down is the other thing. So he actually kind of went this interesting route of doing a deck full of defenders.
Oh, because they can't attack.
Which I find very fascinating. I think, but what that inevitably does, though, is it forces Thantis to be a Voltron. Like, you're just going to be letting Thantis get big, and that's the win con that you're going to have is doing commander damage with Thantis. I don't see that working with our group.
There's a lot of weird hoops to jump through with this guy,
but there are groups that I think maybe that could work with.
Sure.
Just an interesting idea. I don't anticipate Thantis being a well-used legendary creature.
And he's just short of being. Like I have a weird thing about Jund.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is it? Like what define? Okay, if I said Esper to you, like what would you say? What would your response be?
Yeah, I mean, like I think of A Aloro or B artifacts.
Yeah, so it's Aloro or artifacts. Like Aloro kind of what was exceptional. If I said, what's Naya to you?
Like just big fucking creatures.
Yeah, it's just usually big creatures. That's Naya's thing. Just big whatever. But when I talk about Jund, for some reason I always think of like dragons. I think it's just maybe because of Karthus.
It's just because of Prosh, right?
Well, yeah, and Karthus and Prosh. But outside of that, like I don't really know what to say. I get that like in other formats, it's kind of looked at as the mid-range thing. It has some really positive control elements, and it has very aggressively costed creatures like the what the hell's the one that everybody's always looking for? The Lurgoyf. It's like the 2 mana. Yeah. I cannot believe I can't think of its name. Right? You know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
The Goyf. What the hell is its name? Remember Goyf Gate where the guy like drafted a foil one out of his like.
It's just mono green though, right? The Tarmogoyf?
Tarmogoyf. There we go. Fuck. God damn. Yeah. That's
only $102.
Only $102, dude. What a steal. You need 4 of them. So yeah, like these kind of cards stick out to me when I think Jund, but I don't know how to like talk about its identity in mechanically or even just like in the flavoring, you know? So this guy, like, what I want Jund to be is just the pinnacle of fucking aggression is what I want it to be. Not necessarily like, oh, they're really big creatures, you know, like Naya can keep that.
Sure.
Not even that. Like for pound,
I'm just going to come at you and like constantly.
Yeah, like pound for pound, like way. If I and this is just me, and I'm not a designer. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, right? But like pound for pound, I would want every Jund card that ever was printed for its mana cost. It is the best in slot. Like if the intention is to be aggressive.
Yeah.
Right. So it's in this one, it's a 6/6 for 5. Like, okay, just make it a 6/6 for 6. Can I just have that?
Right.
So when I have one creature attack me, he's now on the clock. Can I just have that at least with this dude?
Oh, yeah. Right.
Like just stuff like that. So yeah. Like, I don't know. There's just something about this thing or how about when a creature attacks anybody, he gets big.
Yeah.
And he demands that everyone, like he just causes chaos.
Yeah.
You know, the pinnacle of fucking aggressive-ness. That's what I would like. He attacks anybody. He can block 8 creatures because he's an 8-legged spider.
Right.
You know, come up with something else. Like people will drain removal on him. They'll come up with pillow forts. They'll come up with ways to kill him. He's one freaking Song of the Dryads away from getting whatever. Like it's not that big of or dark steel mutation. Yeah, God forbid.
Look who would like to be in the moon, dude.
Yeah, I want something that just is so disruptive to everyone and their precious creatures, or something that's so disruptive for being around. Like Kresh doesn't even do that, and putting Kresh in this is kind of dangerous. If Kresh isn't big enough and you're forcing him into an attack and somebody's going to be like, oh, fuck yeah, I'm going to block right now.
Yeah, let's get
take
Kresh
out
Kresh
here now before he does become big.
Yeah.
Like don't make Jund jump through a lot of hoops.
It's true.
It has one good representative commander in Prosh. The others are like, yeah, you kind of have to, there's kind of like a setup. There's kind of a setup for all of them.
To me, stuff like that kind of pushes your meta game too, right? Like Prosh forces people to get better at Magic.
Oh yeah, Prosh embodies the color combination.
Like it just forces you to be better.
He's crazy. He brings creatures in that you could be a total glutton with the tokens, or you can. I mean, there's so much you can do with him.
Yeah,
Prosh.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be like the food chain thing. It is, but it doesn't need to be.
Right.
Right. But he's definitely. If they change the text line on this one to all creatures attack, he gets +1/+1 counters, no matter who's attacking.
Yeah.
Fucking hook me up. He's 6 mana.
Oh yeah,
right.
Exactly.
I guess I don't need him to be a 6/6 at that point. Fuck.
Sure.
If that's the case, I'll be okay with him being a 4/4.
Yeah, like he can come in small and I'll fucking go.
Sure, but he'll get big quickly, and then we'll load the Varchild chicken. We'll take her out of the Izzet deck and put her over here, and then I'm just gonna go nuts with this guy. And I'm okay with attacking each turn of Fable.
Yeah.
You know, I want Jund to be the pinnacle of aggression. I'm okay with having to attack each turn of Fable.
But yet we're here talking about
putting walls in
in a Jund deck.
Right, because and this is kind of what I'm saying. Like I don't feel like this guy.
Well, because what are spiders usually? Spiders are usually
they're fairly
defensive.
They're fairly defensive.
Like in most of the game, like they have reach, which is what is reach implying? They're not flying over the top. They're there to block flyers. Like it.
The vigilance reach is something that I think makes him okay.
Yeah.
If all these changes I'm talking about like happened, he still would need that because I want to be able to block their shit and I want to be able to attack with impunity.
Right.
And vigilance, weirdly, is a very aggressive. It is probably the most aggressive stat.
Oh yeah.
Keyword for a card.
Because it means that I don't have to hold up in order to
I don't
block.
worry about attacking.
I'm just going in.
Yeah, it actually says like you're wasting your attacks if you don't attack when somebody's open. Well, yeah, you're open. Sorry, it's vigilant. It's very good in multiplayer. Very good in multiplayer.
Oh yeah.
All right, sorry. Let's
move on, dude. I'm not building a Thantis deck, so. Gyrus, Waker of Corpses.
Okay. Kyle.
Fuck.
Read the card, dude. Quit editorializing. For fuck's sake. This is the news, dog.
Oh yeah. Get my best Walter Cronkite voice on here. Gyrus, Waker of Corpses, enters the battlefield with a number of +1/+1 counters on it equal to the amount of mana spent to cast it. This is actually, I actually really like that.
Yeah, me too.
In terms of Hydras, like that's actually quite powerful.
Yeah.
Because it's X, black, red, green is the converted mana cost, like you would expect any Hydra to be.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever Gyrus attacks, you may exile target creature card with lesser power from your graveyard. If you do, create a token that's a copy of that card and that's tapped and attacking. Fuck. Can we just edit this last part out?
You are editorializing, dude.
Exile
the card.
Exile the token at the end of combat.
Okay.
This is not the Waker of Corpses. This is the like defiler of graveyards.
Yeah,
like
the waster of corpses.
Yeah, like it's just
call him.
I don't even know what to say, dude. Like it is cool, I think, to be able to create tokens of things in your graveyard. So obviously you want to build your Gyrus deck with lots of dredge. Just get stuff dead, dredge a bunch of stuff into your graveyard. And unfortunately, in order to get value out of them, with your commander, you have to exile them.
Yeah.
And you only get them for a turn.
Yeah.
So your picks better be fucking good. I haven't even looked at the online discussion about this one because I'm just like, people are ignoring it.
No, I don't think.
Or they're fucking irate about this thing.
Okay.
That was hard, Andy. Let me just tell you, I had a hard time with that one. Like those two kind of like, this one in particular, they just kind of, they hurt a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, I think and it's not because we're friends, but I agree with you. Even if I didn't know you, I would agree with what you're saying. Like, I wish you and I could be on two sides of a debate. You know, I don't know how constructive that is to listen to a podcast fight itself or something, but yeah, dude, I'm definitely with you on this one. Just looking at it, and this is just getting this out of the way. What I like about it is the mana cost, or at least, or the alignment with his design, right? So it's a Hydra.
Yeah.
If he gets destroyed, his tax goes up by 2.
Sure.
And
it gets bigger.
Yeah, it's 2 heads come back. So I feel like the mana part of it, at least as far as his sizing to his mana cost, is actually elegant design.
It is really good. That first half,
right,
like let's not ignore that. That first half of the card text is really good. And it's more valuable than other Hydras because usually with Hydras, you're just getting the X cost, right?
Yeah.
Like this one is getting the color requirement included for the +1/+1 counter.
Right.
So that's actually pretty.
It doesn't
fucking
necessarily
cool.
dodge the tax. It's just that you're kind of depending on your development. I don't know. You can read the board a little, decide to cast him later. If he gets yoked, like you can cast him and still expect to have a return on your mana.
Yeah.
It's not cost evasion. It's not like Derevi or whoever else. Like he's not doing that, right?
Sure.
So I think it's elegant, I suppose, with that. what really there's a couple things that hold back things for me with this. The wastage, I guess. Like it's such a waste to exile things out of your graveyard. Right? The things that you have to put, like getting things into your graveyard is another resource commitment to your deck.
Yeah.
So if you're saying, well, I'll just do some self-mill, I'll get the tokens in, this is an extreme waste of your time because you're already, they're not going to stick around. You're basically giving yourself a mana barrier to exile creatures from your game.
Right.
In the most convoluted way.
Like I would be okay if...
Like just cast the creatures.
Yeah, if there was
point.
Yeah, exactly.
Just resolve them and use them. And you've got green in your
typing, like you can ramp into just casting the stuff you want. I would be okay with a segment of that second paragraph being in there. You know, like I don't know if I think the big problem is like exiling the token at the end of combat, right? Like I would be okay if with exiling the token at the end of combat if I didn't have to exile the card from my yard. I would be okay with exiling the card from my yard if I didn't have to exile the token. Like having both of those things be present just makes it not even really worth looking at.
Right. And then once you start going down the path of trying to fix these things, get ready to, fucking hit yourself in the dick with your wallet because you're looking at doubling season and parallel lives, and even those get exiled.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's how it, like, that's what it wants you to do is exile all the tokens that are created this way at the end of combat.
Or you're doing something like Sundial of the Infinite in order to...
It's just not working.
And it's just like, well, I've plugged in all, like you said, I'm plugging in all these cards to try and get around this thing. It's absurd.
Yeah. I feel like you're asking yourself to spend time getting stuff into your yard to have your creatures exiled. Like if you go down the self-mill route with this guy and you're looking for ways to exile or get cards into your graveyard to cheat them into play, like if you start treating this guy like a reanimator, it's going to come apart really quick in the face of the other reanimation cards that exist or other reanimation options that exist, right? If you start looking at this guy from the perspective of, okay, well, maybe I'll just cast the creatures, and when they die, I don't know, I'll bring them back somehow, and use them later, right? Like at least I get one more use out of them. They're cost restrictive,
right? They
have to be fitted around his size,
exactly.
So to buy them back again, right? If you start going down the route of, well, I'll just try to buy multiple combats, like I'll do that. Like this guy has so many really hard barriers around this card that once you try to break through them, it actually makes the deck make less sense. What really pisses me, or not pisses me off, but disappoints me about the card is that this actually would have been a good card that was just full of like keyword soup.
Sure.
Something on the level of Atraxa, honestly.
Sure.
Like if he had like trample and haste and maybe menace or just stuff that just like, let's just fucking soup him up.
Yeah.
I'd be like, well, whatever. And you get an extra use out of these creatures if you want.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
What I mean?
Like you've got a good commander and then this other thing you can do if you want. Like look at like I like that as an example because Atraxa has all kinds of different builds that people play around with her because she's just an objectively good card to have as your commander.
Right. And this one is objectively bad.
Yeah.
Like when Alicia exists, there's no reason for this.
Oh yeah.
When Prosh exists, if Jund is your thing, there's no reason for this.
I kind of wonder if that's what's happened is that they're looking at Prosh and they're like, we overdid it. Like it's, and they're trying to like limit themselves. We've seen that at other times. We've seen like Izzet legendary creatures kind of, I don't know, just get cut down because
this thing is just, I don't know. I'm wondering like what year this card is from. You can't use tap abilities because they come in tapped and attacking. He doesn't have any innate protection or evasion. Right. He doesn't have haste. You can't use him the turn he comes out. Like that's just a
good question. I wonder if it's an old design.
Yeah, like was this like some holdover card from the original Shards of Alara? Is that what this is? Like they just like dug this fucking keyword or this design back up and slapped some art on it and threw it in a commander deck and said, "This is what you're waiting for, right?" Like I don't who is this for?
Yeah, like, that's a tough one. Well, let's move on before we boil our blood too much.
Well, yeah.
So there is a Rakdos legend in this deck as well.
Okay.
It's kind of, it seems like each of these have like a kind of like a stepchild legend in them. That's, you know, like they have the full color typing for three, and then another one that's,
And then a reduction.
yeah, that's a reduction. Anyway, so Xantia Sleeper Agent. So 1 black red for a 5/5. As Xantia Sleeper Agent enters the battlefield, an opponent of your choice gains control of it. What? Xantia Sleeper Agent attacks each combat if able and can't attack its owner or planeswalkers its owner controls. And there's an activated ability of pay 3 that anybody can activate, and Xantia's controller loses 2 life, and you draw a card. This one's a really weird design, but interesting to me.
Yeah, at least it's interesting.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see what people put together around this.
I think there's some routes you can take for sure. I think you can do the whole can't attack me thing.
That's kind of
So
been
like
my
the
thought.
2 vows or something.
Yeah, so doing some
I think
vows.
I think pretty quick people are going to look to try to pillow fort.
Yeah,
Those are expensive options in these colors.
It
We're
is.
looking at like a
These-
crawl space, which actually is not that cheap. What is the other one? The
Probably
ensnaring bridge.
yeah, ensnaring bridge. Probably, well, you probably wouldn't want to use a meek stone in this case, right? Like,
Yeah, because it would choke her. You kind of do want this thing to.
I mean, the activated ability, maybe.
I mean,
like, but
she maybe a meek stone wouldn't be too bad of a idea because there is a point where you're looking not really to have her attack into something.
you
and
just want to
die.
have the activated ability.
You want
there.
people to have the activated ability. I was thinking about it and I was like, you know what? I'd like to incentivize people to use that ability. So how do I do it? Right?
Yeah.
So Hearthstone,
Oh,
like let's reduce the cost so people are more willing to pay that mana
Interesting.
to get that card.
yeah.
Or fucking shred their hands so they want to draw.
Like,
because
I
they-
have to
I'm
draw
not letting
cards.
them have cards on their own. So again, I hate to say it, Sire of Insanity,
Yeah.
right? Some
That's
kind
actually
of
a really cool idea.
reoccurrent sacrifice outlet or discarding, you know, like oppression. Oppression would be fucking annoying, dude. Right?
Well, so
Painful quandary, these
yeah,
kind of things where
yeah.
people are like, okay,
those kinds of things. would
sorry,
be-
pal, I gotta like, you know, pull the card.
That's interesting. That's kind of where you landed. I was kind of thinking, I wonder if you do a lot of curses in your deck to just kind of add to what you're doing with the commander a little bit.
You could do that.
I don't know
think-
if that's the best route. I like what you're talking about. I think that's pretty
really
fascinating.
incentivizing people to use it.
Yeah.
And then it needs to be said that once you achieve infinite colorless mana, so rings Bright Hearth and Basalt Monolith,
Sure.
you can drop the person that's holding it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'd be drawing a lot of cards, so you could potentially deck yourself out, but you could do it. You know, at least hurt them quite a bit.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Then the other thing I think is that I don't know what happens when they finally die. I don't know if I think she just goes back to your zone. I don't think you
I
just
think
gain
when somebody
control of
else
her.
controls it, they're exiled. And so you would have to zone her.
Yeah, so you'd rezone her. I
Yeah.
don't think she'd just come back over to you because I don't think that's something that you want is ever
Which
to be
fortunately
controlling
she has
her.
a low converted mana cost. The other thing that I was thinking about is I wonder if you need to have a package in the deck to kind of protect her in some way. As in, I would foresee myself holding up a lot of mana and the person that's controlling her trying to attack her into a kill for her, something that would kill her, and then spot removing whatever they're anticipating people block.
I get it. Yeah. So you're really like protecting your sleeper agent. You're like
Yeah.
your handler.
yeah,
Yeah, I like that too.
That's kind of what I was thinking is like, I'm just going to get that out and I'm going to spend most turns holding my mana up.
Yeah.
Like you said, doing kind of the pillow fort type stuff a little bit. So it's hard to get to you and then just holding mana up.
I don't even know if the pillow forts are necessary. I feel like I would rather spend my mana on things like giving her madcap skills. Now she's a fucking 8/5.
Yeah, that's going to hit people
Early.
hard.
Yeah, an 8/5 menace that has
Yeah.
to attack each turn if able and has that spam.
Yeah.
Like me just taking advantage of that. Like I envision this as crazy as it sounds, like a Rakdos control deck. I have a source of card draw
Yeah.
out that hurts my opponent.
Yeah.
I have 3 mana. I can draw a card
Yeah.
and they lose life. Right. I mean, yeah, it's no Thrasios, but whatever.
Yeah, but
And
I
then
mean,
keep-
so
keep
let's
it-
compare that to the Scorpion God. There's something behind that already, right? Like the Scorpion God has a 3 mana activated ability, right? And you can
something
draw
has
cards.
to die with a negative counter.
Yeah,
on
like
it.
there's
Hers doesn't have
hoops
that.
you have to jump through in that one. You're just straight up paying 3 to draw a card and have them lose 2. It's actually I'm actually pretty pumped about her. I think she's pretty hot. Like there's going to be some figuring out to do for a list for her, but she's cool.
Oh, yeah, I think incentivizing people to use that ability is something that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Whether it works or not, I don't think pillow forwarding is the way to go because the colors don't support it, and then 2, she can't attack you.
Yeah.
So I think the mana is better spent on granting her, just thinking about like kind of what you're saying, like thinking of ways to keep her alive,
Yeah.
like giving her ways to enchant things.
That's kind of what that was my biggest concern, was just making sure
We're gonna
that
have
she
to
stays
crack
on
her.
the board.
This one's one
I think
that
that's
wanna-
probably
I
a
would
deck
definitely
we'll
want
have
to try to crack.
Have to tech.
Huh.
Uh,
All right, well that's Nature's Vengeance, best of the 4 decks for sure, dude. I mean,
you're gonna buy like multiple copies of that one, right?
yeah. If I came home and there was just like a bunch of these in my house, I'd be like, "What the fuck is this shit?" You know?
Somebody forgot to take out the trash.
Yeah, waste of trees. This freaking deck. All right, adaptive enchantment. Do you want to go off on that one?
Yeah, I'm into this.
Okay, do it.
It's kind of my bag.
Yeah, we'll keep you on the front end, and then I'll do the last one.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so this is the Bant deck that's all about enchantments.
Bant-chantress.
Bant-chantress, not to be confused with Dank-chantress. So the planeswalker here is Estrid the Masked. 1 green, white, blue, and then it comes in with 3 loyalty. Has a +2 ability, which is untap each enchanted permanent you control. And then a -1, create a white aura enchantment token named Mask attached to another target permanent. And then the token has enchant permanent and token armor. Totem armor, not token armor, right?
Yeah, it's totem armor.
I don't know why it says token armor in this thread.
Typo.
And then the ultimate is put the top 7 cards of your library into your graveyard, return all non-aura enchantments from your graveyard to the battlefield, then do the same for aura cards. And that's kind of actually, that seems a little weird on first read, that you're returning your enchantment cards, your non-aura enchantments, and then the auras, but that's actually relevant in her interests, because you could enchant your enchants. That's kind of what's going on here. Anyways, she's actually kind of interesting to me. I think, so we did our episode where we talked about enchants, right? And there's sort of these 2 paths that you sort of have usually. Like there's just sort of general enchantments, and then there's the aura, specifically getting into aura builds.
Mm-hmm.
And she actually kind of just like bridges those together in an interesting way. I think with these right, abilities.
And the next 2 kind of stay on both sides of the divide.
Exactly. So this one kind of like sits as a bridge between the 2. So I think one of the first things that you're kind of looking at with her is, well, let me look at my notes here. Fuck. Where did I put my notes on this one?
I mean, right away, Kyle.
Well, you're enchanting the lands, right? Like that's your big thing, right? Like,
well, yeah, or artifacts that give you mana.
Yeah, one of those 2 things.
Or the lands that are enchanted with things like fertile ground.
Yeah,
or
you could do like Gift of Paradise.
Yeah,
Dawn's Reflection.
Yeah,
things that like double up the mana that lands are producing. Things or fix your colors is another thing that those things can do. Like you said, you could enchant artifacts. So, and you can use her to do that actually with her down ability, right?
Yes.
And so yeah, there's a lot of like interesting flexibility here with her. I don't know. Like, I don't think she's like enchants. I don't know, I feel like I was saying I don't know a lot when we were doing enchants, because it's pretty straightforward for the most part. She's pretty straightforward if she's your commander, like what she wants you to do. Just have those types of things that you want to untap, that you're interested in untapping, and go to town. Draw cards, build your Enchantress package, go to town. Is there anything that stood out to you about her that I'm missing, Andy?
She is the most competitive of all of in this entire release. She is the competitive commander.
Yes.
She is going to really have a run at Teferi to replace him.
This deck is going to be definitely the deck to get your hands on out of this whole release.
And now I guess white.
Yes.
Teferi didn't have that.
Right.
Her with the Chain Veil is broke.
Right.
Because of the untaps.
Right.
Her with Winter Orb broke. Anything, when you see the word untap,
it's a big deal.
And it's not looking like this is kind of, the word untap is just really, really strong.
It is.
It's the first thing that's looking to get abused.
And the thing about her, untap each, right?
That's what really busts her.
Untap
He's like
each.
4 permanents, and there's nothing stopping you from putting him in this deck.
Right. Oh, exactly. He can be here. Exactly. So it is like that is a big thing, like untap each. And the fact that she can do that for you, like I said, like she's very independent is the thing about her, because she can enchant the permanents for you that you want to untap. Like, yeah, there's some work to do, but just kind of, she goes up 2 to do the untap and then just down 1.
I think she's the one. I think she's the one that everybody's going to try to break quickly.
Yeah, you're right.
This is the one that's going to break it.
You're right.
The other ones are like, either, the Jund ones, they're okay. And then the artifacts are like, all right, yeah, these are strong. Like, yeah, I can see having explosive turns with some of these guys.
Izzet, there's going to be comboing that's going to go on.
There's going to be explosive moments, but this one is this commander is a freaking brick house of a commander, in my opinion.
Yeah.
There's nothing stopping you from putting these totems on creatures and making it really annoying for them to try to get at her freaking
Yeah, and that's
loyalty.
the thing. Like, totem armor is... There's only a handful of things.
There's just so much
with
flexibility
the Umbras
with her. There's just so much flexibility with her. The creatures, they now have totem armor and they can be untapped. Like her ultimate's just kind of like, okay, neat. I would never do her ultimate.
You don't need her ultimate because you have cards already
like
that
replenish.
Do that.
Yeah,
exactly.
you have like replenish. You have retether.
You have open the vaults.
Cool.
Like,
if you can twin it, great. You can 14 of your enchantments out of the deck.
Yeah.
Like this one's.
Yeah, you're right.
Sorry, she's broke.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe I'm talking kind of like underwhelmingly about it, but you're right. Like, that untap ability is huge. That is huge. It's a big deal.
Yeah, and then you get and then the other man, dude, this one. Oh my god. Rising Waters. You have Rising Waters. You can what is it? Frozen Ether.
Frozen Ether for sure.
Like, let's put that Frozen Ether in there. What is it? Pendrel Mists. Like, they're just demanding like Pendrel Mist and the Tabernacle guy.
Yeah.
Like, all of that shit. Like, it's Hokori Dust Drinker. Now you have access to like just some really and let's put some totem on them because people are going to try to drop it.
Yeah, because they will.
There's,
obviously, the easiest way to protect things in that context is to get your privileged position and your.
Like, I'll admit, like right
Sterling
away,
Grove.
I was just kind of like, oh, cool, I can put a totem armor on a Gilded Lotus.
It's the untap.
That's not really, yeah, it's that fucking, like, yeah, dude. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, right away, like, I think, like I said, I mean, you're looking to enchant your land.
She's the most competitive thing I've ever seen? No, I'm not saying that she is.
No.
I'm just saying, like, if we're only looking at these lists, like,
Sure.
To me, she's at the top of the competitive scale.
Sure.
Of busted town.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And we talked about the nuclear war, right? Like, be
careful.
very careful with this commander because people are going to get pretty wise to your act.
Well, so Enchantress builds already have if you've played against an Enchantress deck that has some of the common themes in them,
They're defensible.
They're already frustrating for people to play against.
Yeah.
I want to get to that because I think a couple of the other two in here can maybe help mitigate that problem that Enchantresses have because they're very defensible, but they're very difficult to win with.
She's just, oh my God.
So
this one's just crazy.
Yeah.
The Enchantress cards will be in this.
Well, of course they will.
Like, you didn't need the card draw like for the other two. These chicks, like these two chicks, like this gives, you can already put Argothian Enchantress in here.
Oh,
or
yeah.
whatever, and Yavimaya
And
and
the Satyr
Enchantress's
Enchanter and-
Presence.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the new one. Yeah.
Mesa Enchantress and all those. Yeah, they'll all be here. They'll all be here. Your card draw package is very straightforward. So the next one is Kestia the Cultivator. I think this one's actually, I mean, this deck is cool. I don't need to like say this one's actually pretty cool. The whole fucking deck is pretty cool. Kestia the Cultivator. It's a 4/4. It's an enchantment creature, and it has bestow. So the converted mana cost is 1 green, white, blue, but it also has a bestow cost of 3 green, white, blue. And if you don't recall what bestow is, you can actually cast it as an aura and enchant another creature. And then when that creature dies, then the enchantment just falls off and becomes the creature, right? So
Okay.
some kind of staying power. However, it says whenever an enchanted creature or enchantment creature you control attacks, draw a card. So, yeah, again, I think this one kind of does push you a little more towards auras, but I think you can add some other stuff into your deck with her that's maybe not so much the same. Specifically, what you would be looking for, I think there's a few things you'd be looking for. One, creatures that want to be enchanted. So that would include cards like Aura Gnarlid being on the battlefield, Core Spirit Dancer, the Graceblade Artisan,
Okay.
Hero of Iroas, Bruna. There's a number of cards that want to be enchanted. But I think you can also include some stuff that just came out of the Theros block, right? So Heliod here. Heliod's going to create enchantment
Creatures. The
creatures.
2 ones.
The 2 ones. Heliod himself is an enchantment creature. You could do Thassa if you wanted.
Nylea.
Things like Courser of Crewfix, things that have constellation in them if you're going to be doing this kind of stuff. So now all of a sudden, like, to me, you're going to draw a shit ton of cards with Kestia. Like an inordinate amount of cards. Am I wrong about that?
No, I don't think you're wrong about it.
Because I think like
I'm not really into like going down the bestow train. I would just be looking for good auras. I agree with the piece about the Aura Gnarlid and the people that like to be enchanted.
yes.
But some of the bestow stuff's kind of...
No, I'm not. I'm not into bestow either. I just think it's a cool option. I remember saying this when Theros was around. The bestow costs are prohibitive. They're high. Hers is 6, right?
At least if they get wiped out, you still have a creature remaining that is an
sure,
enchantment
it's
creature.
nice, but it's a high cost, right?
Right.
My thing is if I can get things out there, get those, because it's one thing if I get like an Aura Gnarlid and a Core Spirit Dancer enchanted and I attack with them and get some extra card draw, but if I'm doing things like Heliod and activating and just attacking with these clerics, I'm going to draw a lot of cards off of that. That's going to produce a lot of card draw. In addition to the fact that you're already getting a lot of card draw from having your typical enchantresses in there, like Argothian Enchantress, the Mesa Enchantress, all that crap. You know, Kestia is going to dig you deeper, I think, than traditional Enchantress builds have, is my opinion.
And yeah, you can still play the regular Enchantress cards. You don't need to be reliant on those. I look at her as the more aggressive ask for out of these 3. Like it's just the word attack is in her keyword, so she wants you attacking.
Maybe. You don't think Tuvasa is more aggressive?
Well, sure, but it's only one creature.
Sure.
Like maybe I should rephrase. Go wide, I guess. Aggressive.
Yes.
Like, Tuvasa, one enchantment goes up by 1, attacks.
Yeah.
Her, it's like, okay, I have 3 creatures that are enchanted. I attack, I get 3 cards.
Yes.
So I think you're right. Like she's gonna dig pretty deep.
Yeah.
Sigarda is obviously a good place to put it. I think you could take the route if you weren't super into drawing a lot of cards, which I don't know who that it would be. Yeah. Or okay, hang on. Let's say you're not really into going wide because you're, I don't know, in a board wipe heavy meta, and just every time there's more than 4 creatures on the board, people start scrambling to clear it.
Sure.
You could go for like a just focused one forceful creature through.
Sure.
It's enchanted. But then you're only drawing one card.
Like, I mean, just think of Kestia with Enchanted Evening, right? Like,
Yeah, that would just be, and then Opalescence.
yeah, exactly. Like,
of course, then everyone loses all their lands, right?
True.
But yeah,
but fuck, dude. Like,
but you'll be all right.
You could draw a lot of stuff with Kestia.
You'll be all right. Yeah, I this one's she's neat. She's neat.
I like my Enchantress deck that I have right now, but if I didn't have something in operation currently, I would probably pick up Kestia as a commander.
Not Tuvasa.
So Tuvasa's pretty cool. I just don't know that Tuvasa would survive particularly well in our group. Maybe. But Tuvasa the Sunlit. So it's just a 3 converted mana cost, white, blue, green. Tuvasa the Sunlit gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control. And whenever you cast your first enchantment spell each turn, draw a card. And it's a 1/1. So kind of fragile to start with. Obviously, you're probably going to want to have some enchant set up before you cast Tuvasa.
Yeah.
Just so you have a more safe commander out there.
Yeah.
And then it's sort of a light Enchantress thing here. Whenever you cast your first enchantment spell each turn, draw a card. So that's helpful that your commander already has that
good enough
on, because think about like what are to this point our Enchantress commanders don't really have anything to do with enchants for the most part. Like I think
today
the popular ones have been Karametra and Sigarda, I think, and those are kind of the two different sides. There's General Enchantress with Karametra and Aras with Sigarda, and neither of them really have anything to do with it.
Okay.
So it's nice that Tuvasa just has it built in, has an Enchantress type thing built in, right? This to me is almost Ural-like, dude, with the exception of I don't need to put it on.
I guess true,
Tuvasa.
yeah.
I just need to play it enchants.
I don't really see that, but yeah, she's an Gnarlid.
Yeah. They're just out. I've got enchants out there. Again, you could do Heliod and things like that to try and get more enchants onto the battlefield.
I think this one's safer to stick with Bant-chantress. Doing Bant Merfolk, I don't know if it's not a bad idea, but like we already have an episode about Derevi doing Bant Merfolk.
Yeah.
And we found that there's actually not that many white.
Yeah, you really don't need white.
To go out of your way for. I guess the Anthem effects are a little boosted here.
Sure.
Ish.
Sure. Yeah,
it's not a bad alternate. I wouldn't say like, because we've been thinking about alternate uses for commanders lately.
Sure.
I guess somebody asked us about that, like doing like alternatives to commanders. Like,
this
is the way they're built.
Yeah,
but
they
actually talk about doing this.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think doing Merfolk tribal with her. I don't know. Command exists. I don't know.
I just kind of want to. I guess when you said that, I'm kind of in this mode of I'm ready to abandon the tribal hysteria that we've been on the last year.
You're kind of sick of it. You're sick of X tribal and Y tribal.
Like I get that there's.
It has been hysteric though, right?
Yeah.
Ixalan really we called Ixalan the 2017 Commander 2017 expansion. For tribal.
Really was, because it gave us dinosaur tribal, vampire, additional tribal,
vampire tribal, like the Conqueror's banner or whatever.
Exactly. So I don't know, but I think you're right. There is an opportunity, I suppose, to do Merfolk with Tuvasa. I just see it as honestly kind of a Voltron, but that raises a problem. In that we've talked about Voltron having a Voltron commander having a few requirements.
You would need to control 6 enchantments to make her, in my opinion, qualifying for Voltron school.
Yeah.
And then past that, the auras that you're putting on her, that's dangerous. She doesn't have innate protection.
Right. There's no innate protection.
Knock yourself out. If she was hexproof,
there's
I'd be
no
like, this
evasion.
thing is just beyond like crazy now. I'd be well, okay, do a Voltron, you draw a card.
So I don't know. I think if you have like some weird niche interest of wanting to do like a Voltron enchantment deck, Tuvasa is a good choice. it's not going to be your best option for it, because usually you bump into another problem with that, is that you need something like Sigarda, which you would put in your deck so that you're not losing out to sack demands. But I guess to kind of bring full circle my thought though about Enchantress, because it digs in, like it has that reputation of I'm digging in,
Yeah.
I'm making it hard for my opponents to do anything to me.
Yeah, Estrid and Tuvasa fall into that side, and Kestia kind of wants you to leave it a little bit.
Yeah, and so I think there's some sort of breaking out of that shell a little bit with this deck, this precon and the commanders that are coming with this of, okay, we can actually get out there and go do some damage. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think of the stepchild of this deck, Andy?
The stepchild of this one. It's pretty cool. What is it?
So it's a Rixamethes Slumbering Isle. It's two.
It sounds like a disease. This is like colitis all over again. He's come down with a really bad case of a Rixamethes.
I just came back from the doctor and he said I have a Rixamethes. Oh fuck, dude! I'm so sorry.
What is that? It's a scientific name for a mustache.
Slumbering right underneath my nose. So it's a Kraken. It costs, the converted mana cost is, so it's 2 green and blue for a 12/12. What the fuck, Andy?
4 for a 12/12. So what monkey broke into R&D?
I know, right?
You know, pressing buttons on the
hit
keyboard.
Print on this
hit
one.
Print on this one.
So Rixamethes Slumbering Isle enters the battlefield tapped with 5 slumber counters on it. As long as Rixamethes has a slumber counter on it, it's a land. Whenever you cast a spell, you may remove a slumber counter from Rixamethes. So, yeah, I think you kind of like maybe save a few spells in your hand and get to that turn 4, cast this guy, put out some spells, and you've got yourself a 12/12 that can't do anything other than be a big 12/12. But it's cool, dude.
You like this one?
I actually kind of like this one. It's not. I think. Okay, let's talk a little bit here about perception.
Yeah.
Right. So this isn't good. It's not.
No, it's not.
But it's in a deck with 3 good commanders.
Okay.
As opposed to the Jund deck that has commanders that aren't good. But it's in a deck that just has other commanders that aren't good.
What are you trying to say?
Perception, dude. I'm like, and maybe it's just me, but I'm like, Rixamethes is cool. And I'll let Wizards of the Coast off on that because they gave us 3 good legends in this deck. This one's just kind of like, it's flavorful, it's weird, it's funky, it's this bizarre way to get this big giant 12/12.
All right, you flipped me on it. I was about to get all neckbeard on it, but I won't. Let me just say one thing, okay?
Okay, go for it.
It's really annoying that he comes in tapped.
Yes.
Because I spent 4 mana for something that does nothing.
Literally nothing.
Comes out. It won't even give me mana.
It does tap and give you green, blue,
but it comes in tap. And then the other part is that it's a land. Like, what are you going to do with that mana?
Right.
So the turn he becomes your Kraken, he will, unless you found an alternative source of mana, he will be tapped.
Right.
So the turn he comes in can't be used. The turn he wants to turn into a creature can't be used.
Likely can't be used.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, you're right.
He still can tap and give you mana after the fact as a creature, but cool, man.
You're using your 12/12 to get 2 mana.
I sure am. Yeah. Those are my things. Like, I wish he wouldn't have come in tapped, and then I wish when the slumber counters finally came off, he untaps.
Yeah.
He doesn't have trample. Can I have that at least?
Like I was saying, I was like, I wish they would have given him Island Walk.
There's artifacts that do exactly this.
It's true.
Right? Arethes Slumbering Isle enters the battlefield tapped with whatever, right? Like it's like the Thran Dynamo costs the same amount.
But does the Thran Dynamo turn into a 12/12 do nothing?
No, he doesn't. Like, I don't know. It's just that those 2 pieces are just like, all right. You know,
I just kind
as
of
soon as you play this guy, you know somebody with the Galta list is going to be like, oh, you're gonna, you know, dude. It's like a direct shot across Galta's bow.
It really
he's
is.
He's joining the 2-hit club.
Welcome, brother.
Yeah. You're gonna play your Galta. I mean, you're gonna play your Big Island guy, huh? I want to bust out my Galta. He does have trample. I want to bust out my Galta. You're like, cool. You're trivializing my already trivial commander.
Yeah. I don't think it's worth talking about how I would build around this thing. I just am entertained by it.
Yeah. If you clone it, you lose it, and the clone doesn't deal commander damage. Just so you know. So the Vesuva and Thespian stage thought that I know it's running through everybody's head, like, cool, you're back off the clock because the clone isn't actually your commander.
Right.
It's not the piece of cardboard that you put in the command zone.
Right.
Just saying. Dark Depths, lol. Okay, next one.
Okay, let's hit me with the fucking Esper, dude.
So when they not spoiled, but talked about what these decks were going to be.
Yeah, they kind of had themes that they were all
This one was called
apply to, right?
Subjective Reality, Top of Library Matters. And I feel like they've stuck with that theme with this one for sure.
Okay.
I've said kind of lately because of the Vivictus thing, like I'm not a huge fan of top deck manipulation.
Right.
And even looking at this, I'm still not. Like I'm still not even these commanders that we're gonna go over. Like I still don't think they're worth the cost investment to try to make it not a card game.
Sure.
I'm not saying they're bad. Like if you really got to do it, you know, and I mean cost like monetarily because the two cards that enable it the best way are expensive. The Sensei Divining Top,
and the Scroll Rack,
and the Scroll Rack, and the rest are not all that great. Like a Crystal Ball is if it's a non-white, or if it's not an Amardu or Boros deck, like
you really don't
or mono white, the Crystal Ball isn't really getting you a lot.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah,
because it just doesn't, you know. So yeah, let's go with the first one. Aminatau, is that how you say her name?
That's how I've been saying it.
Aminatau, the Fate Shifter.
Who's an 8-year-old girl, by the way.
So yeah, she's probably the youngest planeswalker, you know, next to like Chandra.
I was reading just briefly a little of her story. They're saying that people inquired how she got her spark so young. She was like, well, I saw that I was going to get my spark, so I just went ahead and got my spark.
What is her
She's
deal?
a seer.
So she's like a seer.
Yeah.
And she's like, let's just do it now.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I guess if it's something like biological or something that like, because usually the sparks are caused by some kind of event, right? Like something. Right. And she's like, well, I see the event.
I see it. So let's go for it.
I actually like that.
That's kind of funny, isn't it?
That is pretty funny. Yeah. It seems really anime to me. I don't know why. That seems like something like something that would go down in like Bleach.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, cool.
I like that.
I saw the future, so I decided
it to be the future.
Yeah. So yeah, Aminatau, the Fate Shifter. She's Esper, so white, blue, and black. She comes in with 3 loyalty, so 3 for 3. Her +1 says draw a card, then put a card from your hand on top of your library. Her down 1 is exile another target permanent you own, then return it to the battlefield under your control. And then her ultimate is choose left or right. Each player gains control of non-land permanents other than Aminatau, the Fate Shifter, controlled by the next player in the chosen direction. So we all kind of like...
We all just switch board states with the exception of our
right.
lands.
You might as well just like pick up your lands in Aminatau and everybody like move chairs. Right. So yeah, I want to say like we're talking about her ability. What really is going to set her apart, I think, as far as usability, is actually her down one, being able to exile a permanent and flicker it.
So that one actually has a 3-piece combo with it.
Okay, what is that? So
herself, Alter of the Brood, and I think it's the Felidar Guardian.
Oh, yeah.
So you'd
infinitely, because the Felidar Sovereign comes in and flicks her.
Yeah,
and then she does downs again. 1, flicks him.
Yeah.
And then yeah,
meanwhile, you
permanents.
you Alter of the Brood all your opponents.
There you go, man. There you go.
So
yeah. So I think her draw 1 and then put 1 back kind of thing is...
It's specific to that top deck matters type thing, right? Like that's
Yeah, it's like, when do you want the miracle to go off?
Yeah.
And then even still, I would caution about the miracles. Like the ones that you probably want to do are obviously the one that buys you an extra turn. The Terminus would be really good.
Yeah, Terminus would
I'm
be
not
good.
so sure about the Devastation Tide because it will bounce her.
Yeah,
Which you might want, I guess, if you're looking to kind of just reset her. Like, let's say you've gone down a couple too many times, then yeah, Devastation Tide and put her back in your hand.
Sure.
So you don't have to climb back up and you can keep going down and
Sure.
keep doing the blink effects. I don't think she's bad. I think she's
good.
I think she's cool. The choose of the right or left or whatever, the permanent swap thing. That one actually works with her down because it says, if you look carefully, it says return target or return exile another permanent you own, not control.
Yeah.
So
that's a big deal.
Donating effects. This would get really annoying with the Perplexing Chimera.
I was actually thinking the Perplexing Chimera is actually something you really want.
And the Gilded Drake.
Yeah, you take control of somebody's spell, and then you use her to bring the Perplexing Chimera back.
And then you gain control of the next spell. Like, that's actually pretty cool.
It's a really cool one.
And then, yeah, what is it? The Gilded Drake, the one that ETBs and you just immediately gain control of a creature.
Yeah.
So they get a 3/3 and you get a valued creature. Flick them.
Oh, yeah.
Because you own it.
Yeah.
ETBs grab their other creature. Right?
I think so. Another one people were talking about was using the Eldrazi Displacer to...
because that exiles permanents.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can do the... So yeah, this is actually your new Flicker commander.
It really actually is.
Because Deadeye Navigator, all of that stuff.
And it adds an extra color for me, so...
you can get away from Brago.
Exactly. I'm actually really into that. So here's something I was kind of thinking about. Let me just lob this idea out there. I don't know if it's viable.
Yeah.
Because it would depend on her ultimate.
Okay.
We've been having conversations about suicide deck builds.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if it would be possible to just like do kind of like a suicide build. I don't know. Like it would have to be very specific stuff, like permanents that hurt you.
Yeah.
And then passing them all over to somebody else.
I think since Zedru exists, like that's kind of...
It would be very Zedru-like.
Right, and plus like a lot of those cards that are suicide that black have, they're like pay life draw cards, pay life create tokens, pay life draw
So you're
cards.
maybe giving somebody advantage by doing that.
So you've like plummeted your life total.
So it's your
and
life
you
total.
Just gain control of their permanents, the life total doesn't get shifted.
I don't know.
If she said and their life total, I'd be like, okay, we probably need to look at that.
Yeah, because
if everything gets moved except for her and your lands and your life total,
that would be really interesting.
Like whatever your graveyard too. Even I'd be like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? Like really weird zonal stuff. That's like just yeah.
It was just something I was kind of like, I wonder if that's worth looking at to see if there's a way I could set that up. But obviously Zedru would be a better pick for doing that kind of stuff.
I think she's a good Flicker commander. I think she's not busted. Because Flicker can get broken so quick. I think it's good that it's a negative ability on a planeswalker that can be attacked.
And you can put other things in the
really
deck
close to getting knocked out. And then her up one's kind of like, I mean, I think the miracle thing is a little weak. If you're gonna do the miracles, the one that just buys an extra turn, sure, you can do that whenever you want.
There's not that many miracle cards because it was in one set. Right, they gave us a couple new ones. I think
they gave us one new one,
maybe one.
Yeah, it's like a reanimation card.
And so there's just not that many. And let's be honest, when there's any kind of mechanic, like there's some cards that you're not interested in using, and that's definitely the case with Miracle.
Yeah, and
plus
that Seb McKinnon art, dude. That guy, like, what the hell is going on in that freaking art? That is some brilliant art. I would look for a print of that. That thing is just unnerving.
Pretty cool.
So yeah, if we do want to talk about top deck manipulation, let's just bring up Yennet, the crypt sovereign, not cryptic. It's just
Isn't it cryptic?
I don't know, man. This like
I think they've had some typos on the Reddit list.
Yeah, we're going off the Reddit list, but yeah, Yennet, the cryptic sovereign. 2 white and 2 in Esper, so white, blue, and black. Flying, vigilance, and menace.
Dope.
That's good, dude.
It is good.
Like, why couldn't they do that for fucking Hydra, dude? Like, right? Sorry.
Just getting carried away.
Whenever Yennet Cryptic Sovereign attacks, reveal the top card of your library. If that card's converted mana cost is odd, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. Otherwise, draw a card. 3/5. Vigilance, menace, and flying.
This is just a solid commander.
Yes, this is just a solid. Solid commander. Solid commander. You can do odd tribal if you want to.
But you don't need to.
You don't need to because you draw the card.
Because
if
like
it whiffs, okay, but it doesn't.
Exactly, because it's like you're either going to free cast or draw. You don't need to change anything about the configuration of your deck in terms of odd or even CMC because you're going to get benefit from it both directions.
There might be something that's like, well, I'm going to go out of my way for this. If I go above this CMC range, I'm going to make sure they're odd just so I can. Yeah. So like, I mean, I don't know.
Expropriate, dude.
Elish Norn. Expropriate. Yeah, like things like that.
Yeah, like those are things that you would, but because you could do it early, like
but don't be putting omniscience in here. You know, because it doesn't really help you that your cause all that much, I suppose. And then it's 10 mana.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't.
But you could do what the hell is the card? What is it called? Enter the Infinite and draw your whole fucking library. Cause I think now it's 12. I think that one's 12 actually. I don't think that one works either.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so
but the other thing I was thinking is you probably want to do extra turns with this deck though. Like, let's put Metamai in here and go get some extra turns. Let's put some extra turn spells and
so you can get more of those triggers. Yeah, sorry, Enter the Infinite is even.
Okay.
For some reason I thought it was 13 mana.
Huh.
But you could do what is it the one that gives you a bunch of zombies? Is that one odd?
Oh, Ranks of the Dead.
It's weird how I don't have a catalog of whether they're even or odd.
It is kind of funny.
I know, I know they're high CMC, and I know like the kind of the range they're around.
I think that's actually in the deck list.
Okay, so and then the flashback is like you're buying one sided free.
Yeah.
So I'm actually really into this. It's not like a pesky commander at all. You can definitely use like the scroll rack abilities to kind of get the free stuff that you do draw. That this kind of does make my top deck manipulation a little my argument about that. But again, those are the two cards. Those are expensive. The top and the scroll rack are the ones.
But then in this case, you
plan the top of your library.
You could just get a Minotaur. A Minotaur goes really well with Yennet here. Like,
yeah, you can just push them back.
You can set stuff
and
up.
Maybe get to that ultimate if you really wanted to.
Yeah, like it is actually. I just think it's a solid commander. It has a lot of things that you want in commander, like
Void Winnower.
It's value, right?
The Void Winnower.
Oh fuck yeah! So that's like they have no synergy whatsoever, but they do. Like it doesn't matter, but like you just know those two were a match made in heaven.
Yeah, I'm into this. What I don't think it is Sphinx's tribal. I think when they dropped what's their guy Unesh.
Yeah,
I was like, what could it be? Esper.
I actually think if it were Esper, Unesh would be way too powerful.
Honestly, fact or fiction, and you've got a ton of Esper Sphinxes.
Yeah,
this one would be included in that.
Yeah, the more I've played Unesh, the more I believe it needed to be mono blue.
Yeah, honestly,
like it would have been too powerful.
Even if it was mono white, that's something white can't do.
Yeah,
like filtering stuff. Even if it was mono white, I'd be like, ugh, this is okay.
Yeah.
Like it being blue is just like, oh, okay. But the way you've built it with like Uba Mask and all these other things, like, god damn, that that deck can do work.
It's pretty brutal.
So this one's your top deck, part of the top deck manipulation, top deck matters, top deck for life thing.
Top.
You know, top. This is the one. I don't know what else much to say about this. I wouldn't really be looking into. I mean, Voltroning could be a thing, I suppose. Because you are just kind of getting value when you attack. She does have evasion, 2 forms of evasion. She's menace and flying and vigilant. Mm-hmm. She has a fairly nice ass to block with.
Right.
So
it's to me, it's kind of one of those commanders that has the necessary verbiage on it to get you one of your, one of the Triforce of Victory. We're getting value here, right?
And you're cheating stuff into play.
And cheating stuff into play. And then but it's not really asking you to do anything particular. Like, yeah, you can do the top deck manipulation stuff, but you can just play it.
Yeah.
And just build the deck however you want to do with those colors,
Like, what were they thinking? Like, who, like, You know, who's like the monkey that designed freaking Gyrus, Waker of Corpses, and like the other guy? Like, do these guys work in the same office?
I'm
Do they
pretty
play the same game?
It seems
These two dudes or whoever they are, like, come on, man.
it seems clear that some of these have like disparate design teams.
Oh
right?
hell yeah!
Anyway,
Like yeah, it was just like a bad day. He had like he designed freaking Gyrus on a Monday and
like
Yenna on a Friday.
yeah, Tuesday after a holiday or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, and then yeah, so we've got one more Esper commander.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's pretty cool. Verena the Lich Queen, legendary creature, zombie wizard. So it's one, a white, a blue, and a black. Whenever you attack with one or more zombies, draw that many cards. Then discard that many cards. You gain that much life. You can pay 2 and exile 2 cards from your graveyard. Create a tapped 2/2 black zombie creature token. She's a 4/4. This one is a solid commander. 4/4 for 4.
Yeah.
Has I mean, I know you're tribal fatigued, but here we are with the zombies.
Well, I mean,
and the zombies got kind of left out over the last
nothing
year.
else to do with this but zombies, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, no. Yes and no. I think she's actually kind of like on the same range to me as the Scarab God. Like to me, the Scarab God is a very like a very good control commander.
yeah.
I actually don't think loading him full of zombies is that great of an idea because of what you have to do to get the zombies, and then that really fucked up upkeep that burns everybody.
Sure.
That's the thing that's like, I don't know if he can like keep up with that kind of thing. Like if that gets too out of hand, people are just going to be scrambling to deal with you. I'm okay with them losing life incrementally.
Sure.
And I'm okay with the scry. That's what I value. Like if they even remove the life loss component from him and then they just scry 1 for how many zombies you have.
Sure.
This is kind of what she's doing a little bit.
Yeah.
I can say with this though, what I see happening is that you're actually not going to get her ability on the stack that often.
You don't think so?
No, because they're
do you mean like the activated ability or the triggered?
the triggered. I don't think you're going to get that ability on the stack as often as you think you are.
Huh.
What zombies
why do you think that?
What zombies are you going to develop before her? Like some lords, some ones that aren't just that.
As in you mean it's going to be after she's out. Like you're not going to like get her out and then.
Yeah, like you get her out. Like let's say you've put some of the low end zombies that I don't know if they're that great in commander. Like I think like Gravecrawler is something that I guess if you have Grimgrin somewhere, sure. But you're not going to be putting Diregraph Ghoul in this. You're not going to be, and some of these lords like.
I was going to say, I think you put in some of the lords like the Diregraph Captain and things like that.
Yeah, because it's Death Touch. I don't know, man. I don't see the. I don't
disagree about.
I don't see the. I don't see the I don't see the triggers like happening. Like I don't see it. If you're reliant on those triggers, and it's just card selection. You have to draw and discard.
Right.
You know, which I guess is better than nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you see happening? Like so turn 4, she's out. Who's already out to get the draw?
That's a good point.
Like who's already out to get the draw? Here's the draw discard, the loot effect.
What I kind of put in my notes for like how I would build this is I would actually do just a bunch of low to the ground zombies in my deck because I'm planning on mostly just filling up my graveyard with chaff.
Okay. And then just what, you're using her ability to spam out lands or something to get the zombies?
Yeah, to just spam out more tokens. That was kind of what I was thinking. I mean, I think that's a very inelegant build to just be like, let me get it. Because my thought was I just want to have a bunch of things that I will definitely have a couple things in my opening hand that I can cast before her. And then just go. And I get stuff into the yard and then just start spamming her ability to get things. I mean, I think the other thing you could do is just mill.
I don't know, man. For some reason I see her as like just like a control thing.
Do you?
Yeah. Like I exile the cards I've already used that are like expended.
Yeah.
Like the stuff I plan on recurring. I'm not really
that
looking
makes
like
sense because you're getting more value out of them.
Could attack or block and get me the card filtration.
That makes a lot of sense because then you're holding mana up, right? And if you didn't end up having to use it, you can just use her ability to get some zombies out of it.
Yeah, there's some.
That's actually that does make sense.
What is it like? Words of waste comes in. Rather than me drawing the card and discarding the card anyway.
Everybody discard.
I just discard the card or just pass the draw.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know. Do you have to discard a card if you don't draw it? And then I have everyone else discard a card, right?
It has a
so it's
draw that many cards, then discard that many.
That many. So if I don't,
if you don't draw
that many, I discard 0. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I draw the card. Just words of waste, everybody. Right.
I'm into that.
Or words of wind. I guess you could do that. Yeah. A card can come back up and do it. I don't know, man. There's something off about this thing as a zombie general.
Well, yeah, because
there's something off about it. I can't quite put my finger on it.
So here's the problem to me that I was kind of feeling about this one is that like that activated ability sort of doesn't fully fit in with what if you were doing zombies, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like it's a little different from like the Scorpion God the Scarab God where you're getting these beefed up 4/4 zombie tokens. Like,
so I'm actually working on this list. Like,
are you?
I guess what I'm looking at is like I started to like kind of pick away at this, and what I was thinking was like, all right, well, like Archfiend of Ifnir will just bury everybody's stuff.
Oh, sure.
The lords I was thinking about valuing over the rest is like, well, the Death Baron, because now they have,
of course,
they have Death Touch. I actually hadn't thought of the Captain, but I'm like, well, it has Death Touch, and when they die, it's
gonna drain people.
It can drain people. I was thinking just like, I'm not saying like ignore the zombies with her. That would be stupid. I'm just saying, like, what am I trying to say? Is it a reanimator? I think you could do reanimator pretty well with her.
Well, that's hard
because of the filtration.
Sure, yeah, because you're gonna get stuff in there into your yard, and so you're
exile
exile chaff that you don't need, but the juicy stuff, you're gonna.
She's in the colors for it. I mean, you have like burial rites. You have black, which is
There's
like here we go with victimize.
For doing it too.
We can victimize things back in, and then I don't know. You can do the end all be all of lords, which is Elish Norn. Like, why even bother with?
Yeah.
Some of these other zombie guys when you've just got motherfucking Elish Norn.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm trying. This one's got a lot going for her. I guess. Here's what I'm trying. Okay. God damn it. Here's what I'm trying to say. Okay. I hope she just doesn't only become a zombie commander. I hope that like when I go out to look for making like an Esper deck,
that you don't find that that's all that's happening here.
Yeah, kind of. Like I've wanted to make. I've actually kind of wanted to do. The Scarab God, but I didn't want to do zombie commander. I was just like, I want these like recursive creatures that I get maybe extra value out of, but I want to make it like a control thing.
Sure.
And now she exists, and I'm like, maybe I could just get away with that and have him in the deck, I guess.
Sure.
But maybe I can get away with that. And I'm not, I don't know, maybe I'm just kind of projecting my desire on this thing to not be a zombie deck. And I'm not saying there's better zombie commanders. I am not saying that. I don't think there is. I think she kind of comes up to the top now. Well, there's Sidisi. Sidisi gets you some pretty good shit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
And you're going to have the standard zombie combos anyways, like the Rooftop Storm can be tossed in here, right?
Yeah, true. And if you can definitely find Grimgrin and find the Gravecrawler and go nuts with that.
Yeah.
Like pretty quick.
Yeah, exactly. That one's going to itch your mind, I can tell. And I'm intrigued by it because I think it is a flavorful commander. I think it has a very interesting design where it like we've kind of talked offline and maybe we've mentioned it a little bit here or alluded to it, that it seems like there have been some cards this last year that are lazy design.
This one isn't.
This one is not lazy design.
It wasn't just like zombies get plus whatever. Like I think this thing is great that it's white.
Yeah.
I'd kind of manage yourself with the whole like, oh, I need to make sure I have, the white. Like there's a couple that are good. There's like the wrapping mummy or something.
Yeah.
Do you know of any like the ones that stick out? There's
only
like 3.
I was actually looking earlier and that was one of them.
Oh, and another really good card I should probably say with this deck specifically, Reconnaissance. So you can back off the attacks.
Sure.
So you're not really losing your source of churn.
Yeah.
So
you're going.
But again, that's me coming from I want to try to do like a control thing.
Sure.
Where I've got like Archfiend of Ifnir, the Words of Waste thing going on.
That's cool.
Maybe even the one that drains everybody for 2, the one that came from is it faith? It's like the faith of the devoted or something. So it's a 2 and a black.
Okay.
And it says anytime you discard or cycle a card, you can pay 1.
Oh,
and all your opponents lose 2 and you gain 2.
that's
And then there's the
actually
Drake
really
Haven.
cool.
So you can do Drakes instead. Either or, like pick your poison.
Sure.
I wouldn't run both. I'd just do one or the other.
Sure.
So yeah, like self-discarding trigger type effects.
Yeah.
And then yeah, like there's that, like a control setup. She could do Reanimator. She could definitely do Reanimator because the zombies are kind of feeding the churn.
Yeah.
Of the deck. You're filtering the stuff you want and discarding the things you don't, or the things you intend to reanimate. And she's out on turn 4, so she's good there. And then yeah, there's the zombie configuration where it's like, yeah, fuck it. I just want to churn the deck and make zombies. And,
yeah, my thought was just like exactly as I'm just going to try to spin as much as my deck over.
I just don't know how to make zombies in mass. Like there's the Grave Titan, of course. But I don't know how to make zombies fast enough early enough.
If you wanted to get weird, I think you could do
Call to the Grave is another one that's busted with her because she is a zombie.
And once you get a little bit set up, like the Endless Ranks of the Dead, I think is a good enchantment to kind of help out. But
she's a zombie.
But you need setup to go for that.
And then yeah, Kindred Discovery.
Honestly,
Kindred Discovery's busted.
There's this part of me that just has a weird obsession with the Undead Alchemist.
Yeah, I mean you have a huge thing. You have a huge. Very old and long.
One of my favorite cards for some weird reason. But.
Dude, my mom keeps texting me about Chinese food. So last night, like she sends me this message. She's like, "Hey, Dad and I saved you some beef and pea pod Chinese." I don't live with like this. I live here. This is my house. Like,
right?
Like it's weird, dude. Dad and I saved you some beef and pea pod Chinese food from the China platter. It's good and. I know you'll like it, okay? ? And then I didn't respond because, it was like 9 o'clock at night and we were actually playing Commander last night. And I'm like, okay, yeah. And then today, oh my goodness, it's so good. Are you coming over to have it today? Are you coming today? Do you work today? ? And I'm like, yeah, I'm with Tiff. It's her birthday. And then just barely, do you want me to save the Chinese food or freeze it? If you want it but can't get it in the next day or so, I even made you some rice to put it on. !
She really wants to see you, dude.
Do you think this is a trap, dude? Do you think this is a trap? This is some Chinese food, like that's elaborate bait on a big Andy-sized mouse trap?
just.
She like puts it down. He'll come over. I want. And then they've been waiting for a couple days. He'll come over. He knows. And then I know. I'll text him. And text me about the Chinese food. Sorry, I derailed it, but dude, like,
that's really funny.
She's texted me twice since we sat down about it. I'm like, woman, what is up with the? I'm gonna have this stuff and I'll text you. I'm like, dude, it was
actually really good.
Yeah, she was right. All right, so last one.
Fuck yeah, dude.
The foster child of this deck, and oh my god, dude.
Do you have a raging clue?
I'm a sucker for these kind of. I'm a sucker for these kind of cards. Like I think we've been like very hard ass. At least I feel like I have tonight. I've been like really hard ass objective about some of these,
right?
And I am completely I am not objective.
Like unabashedly, Andy's in love with this.
My skepticism is it's out the door, dude. I do not have any skepticism. Everything's gonna be fine with this commander.
Yeah,
it'll work out.
Yeah,
it'll be all right. So Yuriko, the Tiger's Shadow, 1 a black and a blue, legendary creature, human ninja. Commander ninjutsu.
What?
So if we remember how ninjas work, right? You attack with the creature and you leave your mana up, obviously. And they either can't block it or don't declare the block and you say surprise and you jitsu, ninjutsu, the real creature into play that you had intention for hitting them. And it's Inkai's Servant of Oni and you reanimate a creature out of their graveyard.
Fuck.
Right? Or it's the Demon Blade Oni or the Silent Blade Oni demon thing and you jack a card from their hand. So this one is the only legend that actually can be ninjutsu'd out of the
command zone.
The command zone, where the other ones, I think there's only 2 other legends that actually.
And I like that they made it that it's not just the command zone, that it does say your hand, so
or your
hand, ends up in your hand.
Yeah,
I would have been a bummer if it was just the zone,
especially since stuff is coming in and out of play with ninjas. Like that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
So return an unblocked attacker you control to hand. I guess it's going to explain it for us. Put this card into the battlefield from your hand or the command zone, tapped and attacking. And then her text is, whenever a ninja you control deals combat damage to a player, reveal the top card of your library and put that card into your hand. Each opponent loses life equal to the converted mana cost. She's a 1/3. So ninjas. Ninja is a square that everyone's been trying to fit through a circle for a long time. We've had Vila the Nightclad, who probably is a good idea for a ninja commander, but
Sure.
they overdid it with the mana cost. She's 6 mana for a 4/4 that gives all of your stuff Intimidate, which is important, but her CMC is just really high.
Yeah.
And losing control of her or bouncing her is just actually not something that you even want to do. You don't even want to use her as a vehicle to get your commander in play, or your ninjas in play, in my experience. And then the other one is Sig, who's on the opposite side of this mana spectrum.
Sure.
He's only 2 mana.
Yeah.
But he wants somebody to lose 3 life, and at the end of that turn, he gets you 1 card.
Which
and a lot
is
of these ninjas,
hard to do with the ninjas.
right? A lot of these ninjas, and even the unblockable creatures that you're loading into the deck, they're not doing 3 damage.
Right.
So he doesn't really all he's really allowing you to do is, maybe I'll draw a card and I'm black and blue.
Right.
Because well, the other thing is that black and blue is what is needed for all, if you want to play all the ninjas.
Yeah.
Right. She cures 2 of these things. She gives you the card draw, and she reduces the mana cost significantly. Even cheats her way out. Like, that's inactivated. So,
and then doing the damage to people with the top of your deck, right? Like,
there's the burn, which I will say I think that's just kind of like the cherry on top. Or it could be bad. It could be bad if it's happening a lot. People are just getting fucking annoyed. I think when it gets down to like the 1v1, it will matter.
Yeah, it will.
Right? If you've survived and weathered the
not
commander storm
early.
Yeah, I'm really into this. There's stuff that's wrong. Like, she doesn't have her own evasion, which is, like, if she was just unblockable, she'd be off the route. Tetsuko would grant her evasion, but she wouldn't to everything else.
Sure.
Because a lot of the ninjas that you're going to go for, pretty much all the ninjas are actually okay, except for Walker of the Secret Ways. That one's kind of meh. Because once it's down, I think it just lets you peek on their hand.
Oh yeah.
I think is that the one? Is that the one I'm talking about, or is that the one that summons them back out? I think maybe that's the one you actually do need. Let me look up ninjas for it. Like, since we're talking, because I don't think there's any. I can say right away, I don't think there's any other use for this thing.
Sure.
You have to be using ninjas to get your commander worth it, right? Because even by herself, like, let's say you're like, she's the only really ninja I care about. I don't think her ability is going to get you the mileage. There's 13 in existence.
Okay.
So, I swear there's one that's just like not that great, including Higure, the Still Wind, who can tutor. Yeah, when he does combat damage to play, you can search your library for a ninja card, reveal it, and put it into your library.
So a ninja that gets you other ninjas.
Yeah, and then target ninja becomes unblockable this turn. So he's almost like a for sure.
Yeah, need that one.
Needed card. The Okiba Gang Shinobi makes them discard 2 cards. The Throat Slitter destroys a non black creature. Ninja, the Deep Hours lets you just draw a card. So he's kind of like, The Sakashima Student, who's probably the most expensive, he comes in as a clone. So they're getting hit by something massive.
That's some big flavor there.
Yeah. There's 12 in existence because the over operative is a ninja, but it's no allowed. The Mistblade Shinobi bounces a creature. Walker of Secret Ways, deals combat damage. You can look at their hand. I guess the big thing is that you can return the ninja back to your hand and play this only ability during your return. So you can set up another ninja.
Sure.
But if it's unblockable creature that they're kind of conveying on, okay, never mind. There's only 11 because there's a troll ninja, masterful ninja, and actually you can't even see a picture. Like, it's just in the picture, it's empty. It's from Unstable. The Skull Snatcher melts yards. Oh yeah, never mind. There's just ninja, which is the other side.
I was gonna say that's the other side.
So there's only 10. There's only 10 ninjas.
There's some unstable ones that show up in when you search.
There's only 10. So arcane adaptation's probably going to need to happen.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, we're going to need some ninja support here pretty quick. Do you think they're alluding to that? Do you think it's going to...
Well, I think so.
Why weren't there any ninjas in Kanza Tarkir?
That's actually a really good question.
Why weren't they? Like, I thought they were kind of... They have like
the Jeskai were very ninja-like, right?
Yeah. They were kind of like the Shaolin monks-ish.
Yeah.
It felt like we were just kind of like all over Asia. Like we had like kind of Middle Eastern kind of look, like India, Kazakhstan area in the Abzan. And then you have like the Southeast Asia look with the Sultai.
Yeah, the Sultai, like the swampy kind of like.
Yeah, like the Khmer and, the Siam people. And then you have like the Tibetan looking dudes in the Timor.
Yeah.
They're like the Tibetan type. We live really high up.
Sherpas.
And then you have the metal ass Mongols in the Mardu.
Yeah.
But then we didn't really get any representation of Japan there.
Yeah.
Didn't we? Am I missing one?
I don't think so. Nothing like that was kind of like Korean Peninsula, Japan type thing.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting.
I think this
you're going to do a deck list for this for sure, right?
I think AP wants to move in on it. I think he's thinking this will be good for our budget arms race thing. He's thinking like I can probably make it work because a lot of these ninjas are less than $5.
We had a listener that's actually very interested in hearing about this, so maybe we need to bring AP in and do this deck.
I can say as far as like just like okay, well, let's talk about tech that's needed that's just not ninjas because I want to say more about it. Don't try to plan for the top of your deck, but that's just me, and I've been saying that like a lot lately. Just draw the card.
Well, yeah,
right. Things like Coastal Piracy and Bident of Thassa, these are obviously really good. The Cavern Harpy is very good for you because you can pay 2 to pull them back.
Yeah,
and it is a flyer that conveys them into play very well for you because you need them back in your hand.
Yeah,
like them coming in and out of play all the time is kind of the thing. You could try to put Vila in, although I think you'll kind of find what I've said is that she's just not worth the mana.
Because there's like what else are you going to do that turn when you cast her?
I don't know how this works too. Ornithopter is actually okay because it's a 0 mana flying creature that is just a really good vehicle for dropping ninjas on people.
Interesting.
Because it's just because remember you have to pull that creature back to your hand.
Right.
The Baleful Strix is very good. So I'm almost doing a deck tech. Sorry, I gotta slow it off. But as far as the burn goes, yeah, we're looking for stuff like Treasure Cruise and just like stuff that it's mana cost
small,
is there,
but like it has a high CMC.
Its mana cost is there, or the dual sided cards. Like I can't remember. Like there's a couple. The ones
that have like 2 spells on one card.
Because I think it's all of everything represented. That's a really good idea on the cardboard is a burn.
Yeah,
if that's what you're really going for, I think the burn will matter if you can survive the game,
the late game,
and make sure you're getting in and out.
Yeah.
Well enough. Yeah. And then Higure is going to be needed for sure because you need to be able to tutor the other 10.
Oh yeah.
Arcane Adaptation I think will be really good because it just transforms the Cavern Harpy, the Baleful Strix, all of those into ninjas.
Right.
So we can get those draw triggers off of it. Kindred Discovery probably be okay.
So I wouldn't be surprised. So when I was doing if there is more ninja stuff coming, although I don't see where it would fit in Ravnica.
Yeah, we're not going to see it in Ravnica.
But
unless the Dimir just said, you know what, fuck it, we're going full 90s. We're going full 90s. We're the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, we've got the Ninja Turtles coming out of the Dimir sewers here. Like,
why not?
Even though I guess the Golgari kind of managed the sewers there, but whatever.
Oh shit.
But I guess the point I was trying to make though is that I noticed that Wizards definitely kind of alludes to coming design, or they don't typically do design in isolation. If you look at M19 with this commander set in mind, you'll actually see a decent number of cards that support these pre-con strategies that they're sort of pushing.
Crucible of Worlds.
Yeah, Crucible of Worlds.
Escape Shift.
Yeah, exactly. Like the Satyr Enchanter for the Enchantress deck. Like there's stuff that like it's not done in isolation. I think that is something that I would give Wizards of the Coast credit for. Like they do good at a total design. So we're going to talk a little bit, I guess, in a supplemental episode.
Well, I don't know.
Maybe.